All right. Today on the Carnivore's Cut, I have Joe Mullaney. He's a good friend of mine that I did some work for recently, and we've become friends through, well, just a lot of conversations, a couple cups of coffee, and, well, quite a few cups of coffee, actually.
Yeah, indeed.
And some conversations about steaks. Now we actually get to sit down and eat steaks together.
A couple of years ago, I had a significant injury to my wrist and developed reflex sympathetic dystrophy, which is inflammatory process and involves the nerves and the blood vessels. And through the process of trying to figure out what I could do to try to recover from my injuries, I discovered ketovore and carnivore diets. And I found that a lot of the food supply causes inflammation. And by eliminating a lot of the inflammatory foods, I was able to not only lose a lot of weight, but also heal not only my wrist, but a lot of other medical issues like esophageal reflux, joint pain, fatigue, and so forth. And so it's kind of been a journey, and the journey never ends. There's a lot of good people on YouTube to lean on, and you develop your own opinion along the way as far as what works. And I think the most important thing is that everybody's mileage varies, and the important thing is to find something that works for you, and not be so specific about one particular thing.
Right.
And so what works for me might not work for you.
Right.
But through the process, you learn what's best.
Right.
So
you kind of tailor it as you need it. That's interesting. I didn't know that you started. That was one of the things I wanted to find out was how you got into the carnivore diet. So you started from an injury, and you were trying to just recover better.
Yeah, absolutely.
It
was basically I determined that there was a lot of inflammation tied to this process, and what could I do to decrease inflammation?
Right.
And then along the way, I learned a lot of the side effects of a high carbohydrate diet, and the biggest thing is that carbohydrates cause you to retain fluids. If you eliminate the carbohydrates, then you're able to eliminate the fluids, and that helps to eliminate the inflammation.
Right.
So
I would imagine it allows everything just to flow better and stuff like that because everything's not so tight.
That and also a lot of the processed foods that we have chemicals in them that cause inflammation, and even though it might not say it on the label, it could be through the agricultural production process. It could be sometimes they'll put down natural flavors, which are anything but natural.
Yep.
And it's kind of a wasteback term. You don't really know what that means. But then there's also things like maltodextrin, which just makes things more palatable and it makes you want to eat more of it. MSG is another example, and if you eliminate all that, then what you can do over time is add one thing in at a time to try to see, well, how do I feel if I eat that? But you have to almost start with an elimination diet and then work your way back. So, one thing that I learned was everybody thinks that, fruits are the best thing. And, people are drinking fruit smoothies and, fruit smoothies are super high in fructose. And the body, really the only end product that the body has for fructose is triglycerides. And so the cells of the body can't really utilize fructose. So the liver has to convert it into triglycerides, which are fats. And so there's a lot of people who think they're eating healthy by having a significant consumption of fruit.
Right.
And in actuality, sucrose is actually better than fructose.
Right.
Not that sucrose is good, but the way the body processes
it's more palatable for the body.
Well, the body's able to, utilize it. And there's a lot of scientific application to it and research behind it. And there are certain YouTubers that they really get into the white papers on the research behind it. I try not to get real technical about it, but basically, there's lactose, which is in your milk products. There's fructose, which is in your fruit products. There's sucrose, which is your sugars, and sucrose is half glucose, and so you can your body can use the glucose, but it actually takes the fructose, converts it to fats, and so people can eat a fruit diet and have high triglycerides. They can have a fatty liver, and then they're wondering, well, why I'm not eating red meat, I'm not eating butter, I'm eliminating all the fats from my diet. Why do I have fatty liver? Why do I have high triglycerides? And the reason is because the body is making it. So
out of the fructose.
Out of the fructose.
It's turning it into, it's separating it into glucose and then turning it into
fat. It's basically taking energy, and the only thing you can do is take that energy, turn it into fat, so your body stores it, and then you have to be able to burn the fat.
So you got to convert it again.
Yeah, and if you have a calorie neutral or a calorie plus diet, then you're never going to burn that fat.
Right.
So you have to be in a negative, basically a calorie deficit in order to be able to burn off any of that fat. Right. And with the diet today, especially with eating 3 meals a day and snacking in between, it's very hard to be in a calorie deficit, and that's a lot of the reason that people continue to gain weight. If you take 3 oranges and 2 bananas and put them in front of somebody and you say, go ahead and eat this, people would say, there's no way I can possibly eat that all at one time. But if you put it into a blender, they can drink it in about 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And not only are they significant carbohydrate load, fructose load, but caloric load.
Right.
And so
that's a lot. That's a lot to eat. Just like you said, if you can't eat it, if you can't physically eat it, you shouldn't be drinking it.
That's right. Yeah, and well, I mean, it goes but it makes it very easy to do that. And what you can do is, if you are eating 3 meals a day, you can blow through your allotment at breakfast time. And if you eat over half of your calories at breakfast, well, then you're clearly going to be a calorie plus by the end of the day.
With 3 meals and snacks, there's no way.
Right. And so, I don't know whether you want to talk about different YouTubers as far as what they're,
absolutely. Like Baker and Chafee and all them.
Yeah. I mean, there's obviously a lot. Ken Berry is a primary physician, and he has a lot of information available in regards to the bacon, butter, beef, and egg diet. And it really is kind of an elimination diet where if that's all you eat for a month, then it's a reset. And then at the end of the month, you can say, okay, well, can I add something back in? Or where do I need to go from here? But the reality of it is that, when you talk about macros, there's fats, there's proteins, and there's carbohydrates. And the reality of it is that your body makes carbohydrates out of what you eat. And there's no reason that you need to consume carbohydrates because all you're doing is adding to what you already need. So the body needs protein, the body needs fat. It really does not need the carbohydrates. And by eating 50% of your diet or more as carbohydrates, that's a significant impact on overall health.
I will. So this is an interesting take that I have recently. I haven't got to test it yet. Paul Saladino.
Yeah.
So he went from the Carnivore MD to now he's Paul Saladino MD because he's animal based.
He has fruit.
Yeah. He eats a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Fruit. He's even got the no glyphosate or glyphosate free honey that Lineage makes.
Right.
He eats a lot of honey every day. Raw milk, not pasteurized milk. He eats raw milk. I've been listening to a lot of his stuff lately, And I think that he may be onto something. And one of the things that I learned through all this, just asking AI how many calories you get from each different fuel source. Fat, you get 9 calories per gram, which is the most out of anything. It makes sense. It's the most fuel efficient source. And to me, it's got to be the most efficient because, again, you're not doing all the conversions. So you're not wasting all this energy and half of the calories that you get from something on converting it back and forth to fat and carbohydrates and stuff like that. Yeah. And I know I'm not explaining that properly.
Well, but the important thing is, yes, it is high caloric per volume, but it's also the most satiating.
Right.
And so if you eat between 30 and 50% fat diet, then you're not going to eat as much because there's only so much bacon that you can eat.
Yeah. Yeah, tell me about it. I've tried.
Yeah, and a lot of people say, well, then basically you're in a calorie deficit because you're not eating enough, and that's not true. You're eating to the point where you're sated and you're not hungry, you're not snacking, and your body's able to convert the protein and fat that you eat into the fuel that your body needs, and as opposed to saying, hey, I got too much, I need to store this as fat because. Right. The body is very smart at trying to figure things out, and during times of surplus, it's going to make fat to lay it down so that in times of deficit, it's able to rely on that storage. Right. The problem is that that was perfectly fine up until 100 years ago, certainly until about 50 years ago, when suddenly everything became we're going to scientifically manipulate the food supply. Right. And anything that comes in a box or a bag is not going to be as good for you as whole foods. And so with Paul Saladino, the one caveat I would say to him, and it works for him, just like I said, sometimes it works. Something might work for one person and not another. He's working out at least 4 hours a day.
That's the difference.
And another one was Joe Rogan, who went whole carnivore, and he said that he was basically not able to hit his maxes during his workouts. Right. So he added back in some carbohydrates, but smart carbohydrates instead of just junk.
Right.
But in order to do that, that gives him the energy. And it's true if you're a marathon runner, you're going to need glucose to be able to finish the race.
Right.
And give you the extra energy, but that's because your body is burning that; it's not storing it. And so if you're, that's why it's really wise to go for a walk after dinner because your muscles start activating and they burn the glucose that you just consumed, as opposed to you going to bed or sitting on the couch and then your body's like, well, I got excess glucose, let me turn it into fat, and so that's the conversion right there.
So do we turn fat into glucose to burn it for fuel? Do we only burn glucose for fuel, or do we burn fat directly for fuel? Like, can our body still has to convert fat? Like
your body will break down fat and then convert it. And it's gluconeogenesis, but it's making making glucose.
Okay.
To burn. And then you can actually, if you convert over to in ketosis, where you're consuming very low volumes of carbohydrates, then basically you can run on the fat. And so a lot of people will take like MCT oil, which is a refined coconut oil, and they'll use that for an energy boost, as opposed to taking glucose.
While in ketosis.
While in ketosis, yeah, and it won't bump you. That won't bump you out of ketosis. Whereas
because it's a fat base.
It's fat based, right? And so that's why people will say, I take a tablespoon of MCT oil a day. Now, and a lot of people put it in their coffee. You got to be careful with that because it can really mess up your GI system if you take too much of it.
Oh, okay.
And so, but some people will say, I get up in the morning, I'll exercise even before I have coffee or anything, and then then I'll have MCT oil in my coffee as an energy boost, or later in the day, if they need an energy boost, they'll take MCT
or
oil.
something.
Yeah, or even if you get to a point where you say, you're getting tempted to snack on something because you're kind of hungry and you're not quite to dinner time,
Right.
then people they'll just take a spoonful of MCT oil. Some people eat a pat of butter, and
That's what
that
I'll do.
or depending on some people are pro peanut butter, some people are anti peanut butter. It just depends on what works.
Right.
And
works for you.
but some people will take 1 tablespoon of peanut butter, and they're good to go. Like I said, it really comes down to what works for the individual.
Right.
And eating 1 tablespoon of peanut butter is better than eating a Pop-Tart.
Yeah, or a whole tub of peanut butter and jelly.
Yeah, or a peanut butter and jelly. Right? The peanut butter is not bad. It's the jelly and the bread.
Or the additives, and it depends on what peanut butter.
Well, you got to get that's exactly. Yeah, you got to get 100% natural peanut butter.
Yeah,
and that's hard to find. Because if you look at most peanut butters, the number 2 ingredient is sugar. And then the other thing is, for some reason, there's cottonseed oil, palm oil. There's a lot of other additives in the commercial peanut butter that was never there 50 years ago. But 50 years ago, it was peanuts that were ground into butter, and that was it. But nowadays, it makes it more shelf stable. It's got preservatives in it.
Yep.
It's cheaper because it's got a lot of canola oil or cottonseed oil, any seed oils.
They just keep slipping stuff in there, getting that profit up,
right. And I get back to, if it's got more than 1 ingredient, then it's probably not good.
Right.
And anything in the store that says keto is probably not keto.
No.
It's all marketing.
They're all keto friendly. It says friendly in fine little letters under it.
That's right. That's right. Yeah.
I don't need it to be friendly. I need it to be keto.
Right. And then what they'll do is they'll put in fiber, and they say, well, you subtract the fiber from the carbohydrates, and then that's what
that's so foolish to me.
That your body doesn't recognize that.
No. Right? That's like girl math, like that's just somebody trying to, oh, it's cool. I ate some fiber, so we're good.
Well, I mean, it's marketing, and it's a way for people to sell more. And not only do they sell more, but they charge more. And
because it's a healthy.
I mean, if you say, well, I'm going to buy a loaf of keto bread,
it's like $7
easily.
That's crazy.
Easily. And it doesn't taste anything like bread.
No, it doesn't taste good.
But anyway, so but it depends. Some people eat honey, some people don't eat honey.
Right.
I would say anything in moderation.
I was including the honey in the beginning when I was dirty carnivore. I was milk, honey. I did at one point try to introduce avocados because I had heard some people introduce avocados and they had good luck with them. I introduced avocados for 2 days and I felt like shit for 3 days. So no avocados for me. But what I will say, back to the Paul Saladino thing. So this is my take, and I haven't got to test it yet, but I'm excited to. What I would like to do, so at work, I find that it's hard to stay hydrated. It's hard to stay hydrated properly because like I can easily drink too much. I can easily not drink enough or like imbalance my electrolytes when I'm out there sweating. That's only if I'm like sweating and working hard. So here's my thoughts on it is I think, I try to always picture, and that's where I got to the carnivore diet, was like, I picture like, this isn't how we're supposed to do things. How do we do things 1,000 years ago? Because if we ate for 1,000 years like this, I want to eat like that because my body will accept it. I don't want to just eat Frosted Flakes because they're yummy. So going back to like, my mind just wants to picture, what did it look like when we were living in the woods? I try to like, where would we be with that? In the woods, how would things work? And so I try to picture carbohydrates and fruit. Where does fruit fit in the everyday use of 1,000 years ago when we're in the woods? And what I think that fruit is nature's energy drink. And the reason I say that is because I firmly believe that fat is the most efficient fuel source. But in what context? Because a carbohydrate, it carries 2 water molecules per gram of carbohydrates, and it only has 4 calories. Fat has 9 calories per gram, but it only has 4 calories, so it doesn't give you nearly as much energy, but it carries those 2 water molecules. And I do think that if you think about when you're hunting and stuff like that, the last thing you need is like a muscle cramp or something like that, and you really need your energy. And I feel like it was like nature's way of, okay, you haven't killed anything in a week and a half. You've been running on ketones, you're bones now, right? But there's a boar over there, and I can get him. I just need a little bit more. I grab this pretty yellow fruit off, and it gives me just enough to go kill that boar, and then it keeps me going. So now, if I eat that fruit and I go sit down, that's where I'm going to sleep. It's going to put me to sleep. Every time I eat any kind of carbs, even if I drink milk and go sit down, it'll put me to sleep.
Yeah.
Like involuntarily, I'm going night-night.
Yeah.
But I think that carbohydrates are only for, and not all carbohydrates, fruit. I say fruit in particular because it came out of the ground. And Paul Saladino has a lot of really good, I won't say evidence, but he has a lot of really good information about like the difference between this fruit has other things in it, not just the carbohydrates and fructose and stuff. It has other things in it that assist your body with breaking down that fructose versus literally just drinking a fruit juice or something like that. It's different. He's like, it hits the body different and it reacts different. But I still think you have to burn it off or you're going night-night.
Well, the other thing though is even 100 years ago, either the fruit was growing wild on the side of the road, or you had an apple tree in your yard and you were picking your own apples.
Right.
When you start to commercially mass produce things, then you need insecticides, you need fungicides, you need herbicides, and all that stuff is getting into the fruit supply. And then when you genetically modify fruits so that they're pest resistant, or they look prettier on the shelf, or they have a longer shelf life,
or they're bigger, bananas.
Yeah, or they're bigger. That all has an effect on the food supply. But the other point is, fruit is meant to be seasonal. So blueberries come in June, and by the end of June, the blueberries are done.
Right.
Well, you can buy blueberries 365 days a year because they're shipping in from Brazil or Argentina or Mexico, Canada. I mean, it all depends. But the reality of it is that people are getting fruit every single day from all over the world that they've never been exposed to, or they wouldn't have been exposed to.
Right.
And then they're over consuming it. So
yep, they're eating too much of it because they can't, because it's so addictive. Because bananas, like my girlfriend's Filipino, and her mom grows. I mean, she's got a garden and she has a banana tree. And when she picks bananas off, I was like, "What are these?" She's like, "It's a banana." I was like, "It's so small." She's like, "That's real banana."
Yeah, that's right.
Banana in store, no real banana.
That's
I was like, "Oh, okay." And I started thinking about all the other fruits that have got to be juiced up and stuff like that. And we're not eating the same fruit that our ancestors were eating. And another thing, the regenerative farming, the whole thing about growing fruit, like you're supposed to grow the fruit, eat the fruit, poop there to fertilize the ground, and then the minerals, they all just keep recycling. That's the whole idea about regenerative farming and stuff. So when you take the fruit, you grow it, and then you send it somewhere else, all the minerals go with it. So now the minerals don't return to the ground to get back into the fruit. And that's why we have magnesium and potassium deficiencies, because all these minerals have been displaced through various agriculture over thousands of years, because agriculture has been a thing for like 1,000 years. And that was when people started seeing the average human skeleton was supposedly like 6'4", male and female. And they had no teeth issues or anything. And then agriculture starts coming in, and this is all fossil records or whatever. Do your own research, but it's based off of fossils. They say that humans used to be about 6'4" on average before agriculture came into things. And it makes sense because they were eating the most ideal diet. I think something happened, and like they had to resort to eating the roots and the stalks of the plants. And then I'd imagine that's when the plants start making all them antitoxins and they develop. Back then, the plants maybe didn't have all the antitoxins because we're eating the meat. So they're not creating all these antitoxins.
Yeah. Well, the reality of it is you weren't exposing yourself to the antitoxins.
Right.
You know, so
there was no chance of it because you weren't eating it.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I think that clearly there was a shift from, you know, kind of the hunters to the, you know, to the farmers, and that was the start of it. But even back then, you know, they weren't bringing in, like you said, as far as the depletion of the soil. Well, they bring in synthetic fertilizers,
Right.
and anything to supplement the soil. That's all going into the food supply.
But it's also never, from what I was seeing, they never put back in what came out, like the amount. Like they'll take, you know, let's say they take 50 number, whatever, 50. They only put back 3. They don't put back the amount of minerals. And I'd imagine you probably can't. You're talking about a plant that's been there for months, working hard to pull minerals out the soil. Like, you're not just going to go put some cow shit out there and just make it better. Now, that does make it better, but you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But that's where the synthetics come in, because they can really boost it up.
Yeah, like the 10-10-10 and stuff like that.
Yeah. But it's all, I mean, that's petroleum based, and you know,
is it really?
Again, yeah.
That's terrible.
But it's basically, that's where, you know, it's the whole picture of the food supply.
Right.
And the reality of it is that if you talk about the food pyramid, I think it's upside down. And you know, the recommendation that you know, at least 50% of the diet should be carbohydrates is ridiculous.
Have you seen the one from the 1940s? It's round.
Yeah, no, I haven't seen that.
You haven't seen it? I want to pull it up for you.
But
pull it up for you later.
You know, the food pyramid is developed by the U.S. Department of Agriculture. The U.S. Department of Agriculture is interested in selling the grains and the vegetables, but they probably shouldn't be the ones that are developing the food pyramid, because I think that the interests are a little bit biased.
Yep.
And I'm not sure why the NIH or the Food and Drug Administration or somebody else is involved in that, which is exciting to see that, you know, there's been a new interest in trying to resolve a lot of the food supply issues. And
with RFK.
And our RFK Jr. is a good example of it. But even with all the different you know, websites out there, the podcasts or the YouTube videos from the different individuals,
you've got like the Valero
pointing,
and stuff like that.
Yeah, pointing the you know, basically the discrepancy.
Right.
And really, at the end of it, you can argue with how you get to the results, but the results speak for themselves. And you know, through my journey, I lost over 50 pounds. I healed a lot quicker, I think, in my mind. And you know, I'm not saying that I'm completely cured, but it you know, it helped me along the way to get not only that issue under control, but also a lot of other issues, and ultimately, you know, lower my hemoglobin A1C, which is a marker of type 2 diabetes or pre-diabetes. And you know, a lot of people you see are taking medications now to try to lower their hemoglobin A1C. But the problem with those medications is that they're not only losing fat, they're also losing muscle. And if they stop the medication, they're going to regain their weight. Unfortunately, they're not going to regain their muscle.
No,
and
it's so much harder.
And so, you know, basically what they're doing is they're oftentimes going back to their original weight or surpassing it, but it's all fat. And so,
I bet it's harder to deal with because you don't have the strength to carry around the fat.
That's right. And the long-term effects of that obviously are negative on their overall health. Their knees, you know, their ankles are not able to support the weight as much. But I think that, you know, the biggest loser,
the like
TV
show
series. Yeah. Have you ever seen a reunion?
Mm-mm.
No. And the reason why is the majority of them weigh more
than they did when
they started. because they didn't change the way that they looked at food. They didn't change their diet. And through all that work and hard effort, it was, multiple people involved in trying to get them to the goal weight. When the cameras were off, they went back to their old ways,
Right.
and they gained back everything or more. And I think probably less than 5% of them were actually able to maintain
Their body weight.
Their body weight.
I could see that. I mean, it's very easy to fall back off the wagon,
Yeah.
especially if you don't get, like you said, changing the way you look at food in general, not just for right now. It can't be I'm on a diet just to lose weight. It has to be like you said, a constant journey of, I just eat different now. Food
It's a
is
it's a
different,
lifestyle.
you know? It is.
Right? It's a lifestyle, and it's a lot like quitting smoking. If you smoke, and your spouse smokes, or somebody else in the house smokes, it's a lot harder to quit
So much
smoking
harder.
than if everybody's on board and following the same protocol. But it's very hard for you to maintain say a keto diet or a carnivore diet when everybody else is having cake and ice cream.
Right.
And that's what you did your entire life. And so and unfortunately, there's some people who will sabotage you along the way, whether they mean to or not. But it's like, you need to eat more, or you're not eating healthy, or you need to eat more fruit, you need to eat more vegetables, or whatever. And so it's hard in that regard.
I get that all the time, and it's usually from overweight people, or people with diabetes, or like people full of inflammation. I'm like, you can say that all you want to, but you don't look so good. You know what I mean? Not
well, and and unfortunately, if they would give it if they would get a fair shot, and they felt the results, maybe they would stay on track. But there's a lot of people who feel the results, and then they fall off the wagon, and they go back to their old ways. And I'm of the opinion, don't beat yourself up. Keep moving forward. And
right.
If you have a cheat meal, you go out on your birthday, and some people are having a party for you, and you want to say, okay, well, I haven't had that for a year, and I'm going to try this, or I'm going to try that, or whatever, and that's
see
fine.
How it does.
Cheat meal, but not cheat day, not cheat week, and so, but it snowballs. And there's some people that are, just like recovering alcoholics. They can't have one drink because they can't stop at one drink.
Exactly.
But I think a lot of people can, but sometimes they're looking for an excuse to say, well, I already ate that, so I might as well eat something else.
Right.
And then that's when it snowballs.
I think I think this diet in particular is good for the people that have addictive tendencies. Because just like I was saying about pasta, I can't just eat a spoon of pasta. If I eat pasta, I'm indulging. So I think that carnivore is even if it's not the most ideal diet, whatever, it is the best for me, because I can't control myself when I start eating sugar and carbohydrates. I just can't. I have to get more. And it's easy to say, oh, we'll just have some willpower. But like, there's some people that just, are naturally addictive from like predispositions or something like that from your parents. Like there's a lot of different things that you just struggle with the addictive tendencies. And because I've seen some people that eat a standard American carbohydrate diet and they look like Hugh Jackman. So, it's just about being moderate. I don't even like eating one banana. I like to eat 2 bananas, but you're not supposed to eat more than 2 bananas from what I understand.
Yeah. Well, bananas are carbohydrate bombs.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And fructose, again. So, back to that.
I can only imagine what those do to me now.
And
if I do eat a banana, I'm going to eat one of my girlfriend's moms.
That's a whole different deal. But but again, in moderation, right? You can eat one, don't eat.
I can't eat the whole bundle. Right? Yeah.
But
and then go do something afterwards instead of just sitting there. Otherwise, I'm going to go to sleep.
Right.
I go night every time.
Right. And the biggest thing is you have to ask yourself, how do you feel afterwards?
Right.
And you can eat a big bowl of pasta, but if you've been keto or you've been carnivore and you go out and you splurge like that, you will regret it the next day. Because your body is, number one, not accustomed to it, and number two, you're going to retain a lot of fluid, and you're going to feel that, and
Your inflammation will start puffing back up.
Exactly.
Yep.
And so your knees start hurting, or your ankles start hurting, or any of the old stuff that was happening, you're going to have to happen again. The same with alcohol. People say, well, I want to continue to drink. Well, wine and beer are high in carbohydrates. Straight liquor is probably a little bit better in that regard, but I'm not saying it's better for you. And again, it all has to get processed through your liver, because the body's not going to burn the alcohol; it's going to have to convert that. And so again, is one drink going to kill you? No. Is it going to make you, completely change your entire, diet or way of living? No. But the reality of it is that the more you do, then the worse, it snowballs.
Worse off, yeah.
And so, it's a matter of, deciding, am I going to do it or not? And if I am going to do it, can I stop at one? And if you can't, if you say, I really can't stop at one, then just don't do it.
Yeah. That's the key, is being able to stop yourself before you even get to the, and that's where I think this diet is great, because I can't get to that. If I eat it, I go to sleep.
Right.
I'd like to enjoy my time.
Right.
Like there's been multiple times where we had a wedding, like our old roommates, we had a wedding to go to in Jacksonville about a month ago. And leading up to it, my girlfriend was like, are you going to break your diet on the wedding? And I was like, well, yeah, I can break it for the wedding. It's a special occasion. We get closer and closer to it. And like, now that we know that if I eat anything with carbs, I'm going night-night. Now that we know that, and I start feeling bad or sick or something, now that we know that, she was like, are you still going to cheat? And I was like, I don't think so, because I won't be able to enjoy it. Like, I'm gonna eat something that's yummy and then have to go lay down somewhere 30 minutes later. I'm not gonna burn off. And I didn't even know about burning it off or anything like that. But I just didn't want to. I wanted to have a good time. So that is the addictive part to me, is feeling this good all the time. If that is what, if I get this from not eating that, fuck that. I don't want it.
Yeah.
I don't want all the sweet stuff. Like, I will say, like, I remember what it tastes like. And that's the hard part, is I remember that it was so yummy. And I remember eating so much of it. So like, I asked my girlfriend not to buy a whole lot of sweets and sodas. I did let her buy some poppy sodas, because they're like the prebiotic sodas or whatever. They're supposed to be better for you. It's supposed to help with your gut. So I let her get those, but that's been a recent thing. For a while, like, don't bring any sodas in the house unless you've got one bottle and it's yours. Don't bring any sodas. If you got cookies, put them away. Like, just keeping all the snacks away and stuff. And just in doing that, she has eaten a lot less junk food, because I'm not bringing any in the house, and out of respect, she's trying not to eat it in front of me, because she doesn't want to torture me.
Right.
So she puts stuff away and stuff like that. The sodas I had to ask her about, because I was like, you can't be drinking sodas all day now. Come on.
Too tempting. Yeah.
Right.
And if you're going out, like if you're going to a wedding reception or somebody's house or whatever, the best thing to do is to eat before you go. And that way, when you get there, you're less likely to be tempted. And you may snack on something, or you may say, well, I'll take one, not taking 5. But if you go someplace famished, you're going to eat. And the one thing I'd have to say about carnivore is, a lot of people will say that it's an expensive diet, and the reality of it is, you don't have vegetables you're throwing out because they're rotting. You don't have fruit that you're throwing out because you're rotting. You don't have bread that you're throwing out because it got moldy. But in the same respect, when you start looking at the price tag on all those things and you add those up, you're spending a lot more. And along with converting to eating carnivore, or even keto, is that you can incorporate intermittent fasting, where you're not eating 3 meals a day, because when you wake up in the morning, your liver has stored enough glycogen to be able to give you what you need for your energy when you first wake up. You don't need to pile on top of that with a big breakfast.
So would you then recommend doing intermittent fasting with carnivore and starting it from, so what is it, 16 hours or 14 hours? It's usually like a fast, somewhere in that range.
Yeah, I mean,
12 to
everybody,
16.
everybody does it differently. And you can go from intermittent fasting where you just say, well, I'm just going to eat 2 meals a day, or
Mhm.
you can get to a point where you just cut that down to 1 meal a day.
Right.
I've seen it described more as intermittent feasting, and that's
I think
where
that's what Baker does.
if you eat enough to fill you up, and if you're eating the right things, which is basically going to be protein and fat, then you are going to be sated to the point where you're not snacking and you're not hungry the next morning. Some people are pro coffee, some people are anti coffee. But that again, it's whatever works for you. If you
Right.
drinking coffee is what you need, do it. If you feel like you do better without drinking coffee, that's fine. But when I say coffee, I'm not talking about coffee with cream and sugar or sweetened condensed milk or whatever. I'm talking black coffee.
Right.
And then depending on some people say, well, I don't drink tea because it's plant based, or when it comes to spices, they'll say, well, I'm not going to use any garlic, or I'm not going to use any granulated onion. I'm not going to use any pepper, and so they'll just go straight salt.
Right.
That's fine if that's what makes you happy and that's what you want to do. But in the same regard, if you say, you know what, I want to, I want to eat steak, or I want to eat hamburger, but I want to put some spice on it, I personally think that's a lot better than eating a big bowl of pasta. That's a lot better than
Or eating a whole onion.
or eating a bag of potato chips.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, exactly.
The potato chips, the French fries, and so forth. That's what's I think killing the population, and it's not. Oh, I had some pepper on my steak, or
No, it's not the seasonings.
now, yeah, now I don't use seasoning that has a whole lot of sugar in it.
Right.
That sugar burns, and so if you're cooking at high temperature, you're going to end up burning the sugar anyway.
Which is always hot when you're cooking steaks.
Yeah, but having said that, again, moderation is key.
Right. I think that's the big decider on whether, again, like I think that's, if you have an addictive tendency and you just can't control yourself, you kind of got to go on something that's really limiting. And it's crazy to say that, because it's like, well, if I can't control myself, how am I going to be on such a restrictive diet? You have to pass that threshold. You have to see the results. Once you actually see real results, and I recommend, I wanted to recommend like everybody to do like the baby carnivore phase, like I was talking about with the milk and the honey and everything, just dirty carnivore, just to keep you interested in it. But I think it's too easy to slip off. Honestly, I think if you're going to do it, if you're doing it for like help, if you're like, I'm changing my life today, just red meat and salt. I think just red meat and salt, 30 days. If you can do 30 days, 2 weeks would be enough. Just red meat and salt. By the end of that 2 weeks, you're going to feel so amazing. You're not going to want to eat anything else. But I think you go just to red meat and salt. And like you said, that's the elimination diet.
Right.
You can add back in the garlic. You can add back in the pepper. You can add back in all that, one thing at a time, and then you know what actually messes with you.
And that's sort of where the BBBE diet from Ken Berry, which is the beef, bacon, butter, egg diet. Eat as much of it as you want, and you can't overeat that diet.
Right.
But you're getting everything you possibly need. And now, some people eat eggs, some people don't eat eggs.
Have you seen the guy that went 30? Was it 30 days just eating eggs only?
Yeah,
he went 30 days eating eggs only, and all his blood work was perfect.
Normal out. Yeah,
that's crazy.
Yeah, but the thing of it is that you don't want to make it so limiting. I mean, I understand if you're going to quit smoking, you're probably better off quitting cold turkey than you are trying to do nicotine gum and nicotine patches and tape yourself down. And people say, well, I'm vaping because it's helping me to quit smoking.
Vaping's so much worse.
It can be so much worse, but the reality of it is that people will say, well, the nicotine patches cost more than cigarettes, so I'm just going to go back to smoking. So you're using that as a crutch, and that's like all these stevia, monk fruit, allulose, fake sugars. And people say, well, I can put this in, and I can put this in and sweeten things up. But your brain is wired for that sugar, and it's an addiction. And sugar is an addiction. That's why there's sugar in everything, because it makes you want more, and you keep coming back for it. And you spike, you feel good, and then you crash. Now you need more sugar because you got to get that hit again.
Cocaine.
And yes, exactly. It's more addictive than cocaine.
I believe it.
And so, having said that, the best thing to do is not go down that wormhole and say, well, I'm just gonna start using monk fruit instead of sucrose. But in the same respect, anything you can do to go to, if you say, listen, I'm just going to go to Whole Foods, and if you say, well, I'm going to go to Whole Foods and I'm going to include fruit and vegetables, have at it.
Right.
But then eventually you'll get to a point where it's like, well, do I really need to be, making all these sides?
Right.
And I think that if people get to the point where they say, you know what, I can skip the sides, I can just have the protein and fat, and that fills me up and sustains me, and I feel better afterwards, I'm not having all the side effects, then it encourages them to continue on the path.
Right.
So
the results are the addictive
results
part
speak
for
for
the
themselves.
It's
right.
I have a buddy who he's trying to commit to carnivore and stuff like, not commit to carnivore. I don't know why I say it like that. He's trying to discipline himself to be able to like really stay on it. He also works in a pretty hot, he works at Discount Tire. So he's, constantly sweating in Florida.
Mm-hmm.
So he's constantly sweating. So he was battling with electrolytes in the beginning, and like he was having hot flashes at work and like throwing up and stuff. It's like, you need electrolytes. You probably need a lot more sodium. But he told me, he's like, I called him just to check on him, because he called me and he was like, hey man, I'm at Costco. What do I do about electrolytes and salt and stuff? I was like, just grab the pink Himalayan salt. And then I didn't talk to him for like a week, and I called him and I was like, just to check on him because I was curious. And I was like, hey man, how you doing? He's like, I'm doing all right. I'm still I'm on carnivore, but I did cheat. I'm like 37 hours on right now, but I did cheat the other day because I started throwing up at work, so I had to eat some carbs real quick. And he's like, I was like, oh well, dude, like don't feel bad. Like, you felt like shit. Do what you got to do to feel better. Like, you don't need to be feeling like crap at work. So, but like, I think you need more electrolytes. I think that's what your problem is, because I was having the same issue at work because it started getting really hot and I was working outside, and I was
and people think if they just drink more water, that's good, but what they're doing is diluting their electrolytes down further.
And then you're risking heart palpitations and stuff like that, just because sodium, magnesium, and potassium, they all regulate. Like,
but a lot of these electrolyte drinks are garbage.
Yeah,
they have artificial dyes, they have sugar in them, they have a lot of additives that make them taste good, but they're not good for you. And they can certainly wreck your diet.
Even and I'm not bashing Element at all, because I think it's fantastic. But even the flavored LMNTs, I won't drink those. I'll do the unflavored.
Yeah,
I won't do the flavored just because I don't.
Well, that has maltodextrin.
Oh,
and that's basically a carrier to put that flavor on. But that's why it tastes so sweet.
Is the maltodextrin what makes the chewing easier in some foods? Do you know what the ingredient is that they make the chewing easier?
No.
I believe it was RFK was talking about it, but like, your brain has a timer, essentially, like how many times you chew and when you need to swallow and how full you are. Like, there's some kind of connection between that. So like, they found out that if you swallow and get satiated based off of how many times you chew, like your body like starts to count how many times you chew, and that's when you swallow. And I know that to be a fact because I always chew. Like, I've had to start chewing more now that I'm on carnivore. I think it's much better for me. But I used to, no matter what I was eating, I would chew about 5 times and I would swallow it. So I had a lot of indigestion because I was eating like whole chunks of stuff. Because when I would eat cereal, I'd eat 3 or 4 bowls of cereal, and I'd eat them, and I would chew 5 times. But then when I go to eat a steak, I'm only chewing 5 times. So I'm having chunks of steak stuffed down my gut. And like, now that's fine because that's what my body does. But when I'm not chewing up my steak and I'm shoving it in right behind some soft, mushy stuff, like that does not sound right to me, you know? So, what they were doing was they found out that you're counting how many times you chew before you swallow and before you're satiated. So they have this softener that they put in the food to make it easier for you to swallow. That way you're putting down more food. Exactly.
Yeah,
you're chewing less, and it worked on me. Like I noticed that years ago because my stepdad used to tell me, he said he had a buddy named Josh, and he was like, Josh had stomach problems because he wouldn't chew up his food enough. You're eating too fast. Like I would wolf it down. I'd be done way before him, and he's huge. So he was like, you really need to slow down and make sure you're chewing more. And like after he said it, I started paying attention to it, and I didn't chew a lot, and it didn't get any better. Like even though he said it to me years, I'm still doing the same exact chewing thing, and it's because now I know it's because the food is just like engineered to be easier to eat, so you can consume more and be extremely addictive with the oils and the sugars. It's nuts, man. It's nuts.
Yeah.
But I thought that maltodextrin or dextrose, is it, what was that?
Maltodextrin.
Maltodextrin. I thought that maltodextrin was that ingredient.
No, it's more like a flavor carrier.
Okay.
And and it's not monosodium glutamate. It's not MSG, but
that's
your body reacts to your body reacts to it with significant spike in your blood glucose, and that ultimately ends up in a spike in your insulin because your insulin is trying to drive down your blood glucose, and so it's all balanced out.
Your insulin is what balances the glucose in your blood?
That's right, because if your glucose goes up, your body gets the message glucose is high in the bloodstream, and so then the pancreas releases the insulin to drive the glucose back down.
Gotcha.
Now, I've seen a lot of people say, well, if you eat like they'll say, well, the reason you eat dessert last is because if you eat protein and fat, then you don't get as great of a glucose spike if you eat, like a dessert.
I mean, I guess it's sitting on top of it.
And it says it slows down your digestion. It slows down the spike in your blood glucose because if you put pure sugar into your system, then you're going to spike your glucose really quickly, and then your body's going to have to react to it.
Right.
Okay. But I think it's a little bit of a misnomer because what's really happening is when you eat fat and protein, it primes the beta cells to release insulin, but it doesn't release the insulin. It's just getting them ready. And then when you eat the sugar, suddenly you have an insulin spike. And so the insulin spike drives the glucose down. So if you have a glucose monitor on and you say, if I eat steak and eggs before I eat a piece of pie, I don't get as great of a glucose spike as if I just eat a piece of pie. Well, the reason is not so much that the steak and eggs is tempering your glucose. It's the steak and eggs is priming the insulin to be able to deal with the glucose when it comes. And so ultimately, if you're looking to decrease your hemoglobin A1C and trying to limit your carbohydrates, then eat the steak and eggs and skip the pie.
Yeah, just cut out the extra stuff. It's that easy.
And ultimately, the question you have to ask is: am I feeding my stomach? Am I feeding my body? Or am I feeding my brain?
Yeah, feeding the dopamine.
And when you're eating, you're feeding it. And usually, you feel good when you're doing it, and then afterwards, that's when you kind of crash and you're like, "Geez, I wish I hadn't done that," or it wasn't as good as I remembered it, or whatever. Or you could say, well, that was good. I'm going to have another one. And, any way you look at it, it doesn't end well.
Right.
But your body doesn't need the sugar. Your body has everything that it needs, the protein and the fat.
Exactly.
So
I would agree. Very much so. And I love it. Let's go get to cooking some steaks.
Okay.
We're gonna go out of frame for a little bit. We got 2 air fryers set up over there. We've got a Gourmet and a Ninja. We just got 2 set up because it would take too long to cook 2 steaks in one. But it is going to be interesting to see, how those match up against each other. I guess we're doing a little fry off, but yeah, we'll go over there and mess around with those for a little while.
Okay, very good.
So here we have the Gourmet and the Ninja, like we were talking about before. We got them both preheating now. Well, his doesn't have to preheat. His is pretty much hot all the time. But the Gourmet is preheating right now. We have 2 frozen ribeyes, which Joe. Oh, you already opened them. Okay, I ain't gonna mess with them too much then.
That's fine.
But we got 2 frozen ribeyes. We're actually gonna cook them from frozen. I didn't think that was possible, but Joe here has kind of showed me the way with the air fryers, and that's why we're doing the air fryers today. But we're going to air fry 2 frozen ribeyes and see how it goes. And you said we're going to season. That was something I didn't know before. We're going to season in the middle of cooking
halfway
instead
through.
of trying to put them on a frozen steak. I don't know why I thought that was a
you
thing.
can't put rub on a frozen steak.
No,
So
it doesn't work. In case you weren't wondering,
now these are like 1.5 inch thick ribeyes, frozen solid, and
I was about to say your meat looks bigger than mine.
Well, thank you. Typically for a good medium rare, 18 minutes at 450. If you have an air fryer that does 400, you can do it, but it's not going to get a crust on the outside. We're using baskets in these to elevate it towards the heating element as well.
Right.
And the other thing is, if you do this indoors, do it under a vented hood because you can smoke out the house.
Very easily.
And so that's what you got to do. All right. So we're just about ready to go here.
Grandma's taking forever to get hot. No, this thing's pretty cool though. Yeah, that ought to get it pretty good. And you have the basket in yours too, raised up.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So we'll really get to see. Now, when you cook yours, normally do you use the basket?
Typically, I don't, but since you're using a basket, then
yeah. I wonder how yours is going to crisp out compared to normal.
It'll crisp out.
Yeah, I bet yours. Because I don't think mine put off a whole lot of smoke when I cooked it yesterday.
Okay. There's that food.
There you go. Plop her in there. Yeah, that is a thick steak. And you got those at Teeter as well? And
yeah.
Cut them down?
Yep, I had those cut. Yep.
That's awesome.
Get rid of this stuff here.
All right. Good deal. Now, is this coarse kosher salt? What else do you use for the rub? You said you put 2 salts on it.
Yeah. So
no, you use the.
I have a mixture of salt, pepper, garlic, and onion.
Right.
And that's that's what I found. You can buy any different steak rub, but I just found that it's cheaper just to buy bulk and then just mix it together.
You weigh it all out and everything, or you just pretty much kind of.
I just eyeball it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I eyeball it.
It turned out really good. I love it. That flaky salt makes a big difference. Having them big chunks like that makes a big difference.
Yeah. So that's a MALDON is a flake salt. Okay. And recently discovered that, and it's really you can just put that on a steak, and you don't really need anything else.
Right. Yeah. No, that salt was really, really good. I'll have to pick me up some. Now you had to order it.
No, you can buy it. You can buy it local.
Okay.
Yeah. Just all you do is just Google Malden salt near me.
Palladino did a salt lead test, and he tested a bunch of different salts for lead because he's worried about the heavy metals in the salts.
Sure.
And Redmond's actually had a good amount of lead in it. Celtic was the highest.
Is that right?
Which I thought was crazy. But you know what was the lowest? The flake salt that I just so happened to buy like a week before the video. It's Diamond, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Diamond.
Yeah, Diamond salt.
The flake salt that they have, he said it tested for no lead. It was the best he tested like 12 salts, and it tested for no lead. So I was like, well, cool. I got some in the counter. I was a little sad to hear that about the Redmond, but also like, isn't lead kind of a part of our anatomy too?
No, not really. I mean, that's
So it's not something you want to introduce.
That's not something you want to
introduce. I know, like
system.
iron, magnesium. Like there's different metals in your body.
Iron, copper, magnesium, but not lead.
How do you feel about iodine? You take iodine?
I don't.
No,
I'm not. You know,
I know you've
know
seen
some people.
Barry talk about that.
Yeah, some people talk about it. Again, it just depends on how far down the wormhole you want to go.
Right.
But for me, I haven't gotten into all that. The more you do, the more you overcomplicate it. The more you overcomplicate it, the less likely you're doing.
Yeah, exactly.
And so I'm a big believer in just keep it simple.
Right.
Now, a lot of people say, "Oh, well, you know, you're cooking in an air fryer, and that's the worst thing you can possibly do," because of the nonstick coating inside the air fryer and the cooking at high temperatures. You know, and obviously, if you cook the steak on a grill at 900 degrees, you're going to get, you know, the carbonization, and they say that's carcinogenic. So, I mean,
yeah, I've heard that the gristle is carcinogenic if you burn it. That's crazy.
Well, it's because of the carbonization of it, but the reality of it is, you know, you shouldn't be eating completely burnt crisp steaks,
right?
But in the same respect, it's a trade-off. Well, is it healthier than a Pop-Tart?
Exactly.
You know,
right?
And or is it healthier than a bowl of spaghetti?
That's where it goes back to the rabbit hole.
So use your common sense,
right.
And you know, and just make sure that you realize that everything's relative. It's like, well, okay, you know, there's obviously there's some risk associated with everything, but the risk of you becoming diabetic and requiring lifelong insulin is a lot less if you're eating properly than if you're not eating properly. And so, you know, I think that you can hear pros and cons on any subject, and it just depends on what you're willing to balance.
I think what you're willing to believe too.
Well, of course.
I think beliefs are your filter to the world, and because if you don't believe it, you're not going to accept it. But if you are looking to believe it, then you'll just accept it, and then that's just truth to you. Like you either believe in something or you question it. There's no in between. Like if you truly believe in something, you don't question it. If you question something, you don't truly believe it.
That's faith, right?
So yeah, exactly. That's where I got the quote from.
yeah. But I don't criticize anybody who wants to eat a vegan diet, wants to eat a vegetarian diet. You know, whatever works for them, right? Now, I just know what works for me, and that's that's what I'm doing.
I never wanted to try vegan because I didn't want to cut out meat. Like I just couldn't see me not eating meat for the rest of my life. I couldn't do that. I don't know. I never wanted to try vegan. I tried keto before. I tried what's the 20 carb a day? What's that one?
Well, that's a keto diet.
Yeah, it was called Atkins.
Atkins,
yeah. It was the Atkins diet or whatever, which was like the original keto.
The original keto. Yeah.
You know, I've tried a couple different things. Just cutting out all the sugar. Cutting out all the sugar makes a huge difference.
Well, and a lot of people who say they tried keto really didn't truly try keto. You know, because I mean,
very true. I wasn't a good keto.
When you hit, you have to hit full ketosis in order to be able to, get the benefits of keto.
Right.
And most people never get there. It's like runner's high. Most people never run to the point where they get a runner's high. They just get to the point where they know that they don't like running.
Right. Once you get to the runner's high, it's so much fun.
It's a difference. Yeah. And so, the same with people can say, well, I tried Atkins or I tried this, but there's keto and then there's Cheeto. And if you're doing Cheeto, you're never hitting that.
Might as well be eating Cheetos.
You're never hitting that point. Exactly.
Yeah.
And one of the problems with ketosis is you can get into ketosis, but you can knock yourself out of ketosis very quickly. So
easy.
And it can take you a week to get back into ketosis.
Really?
And it's not like, well, I just ate one thing and then
I thought that ketosis was like if you fast, once you my understanding before was, so we were doing keto and intermittent fasting, and or I think we thought we were doing keto because I don't think you can do both.
Yeah, you can.
You can?
Yeah, sure
okay.
you can.
Well, yeah, because carnivore is
Yeah.
keto, and you can intermittent fast with it for sure.
Yeah,
It's just
carnivore
when
is
you eat.
just an iteration of keto.
Yeah, it's the hardcore keto.
Yeah,
Kinda.
yeah.
It doesn't rely
I think keto is actually harder than carnivore because you have to pay a lot more attention to what you're
just
putting in
staying
your body
yeah.
in order to be able to sustain it.
So then, like, what exactly how do you get into ketosis? Supposedly there's this energy drink that freaking throws you in ketosis. Have you seen that?
You know,
the kinetic?
the way you get into ketosis is by cutting out the carbs and forcing your body to break down fat.
Okay.
And part of that process, your body develops acetone, which are your ketones. And so you have circulating ketones.
Like acetone.
Like
actually
fingernail cleaner.
What?
Fingernail polish.
Our body will make that?
Yeah. And when people are in ketosis, they can smell it on their breath. They can smell it in their urine, and literally their urine will smell like fingernail.
That's what the ketones are. Is acetone?
That's acetone. Yeah.
That's crazy.
But your body is basically breaking down the fat and burning the fat. So now you eat a piece of pie. Well, your body's like, hey, we got a supply of sugar, and that's a lot easier to utilize for energy than it is to use the fat. So now your body switches back to burning sugar, and it uses sugar. And then as a result of that, now you're knocked out of ketosis. And you can't just say, okay, well, I'm just going to be good tomorrow and I'll be back in ketosis, because it can take literally days. And not only that, but you're suffering the effects of the carbohydrates because now you've pulled on a lot of fluid and gained weight. So all right, we hit 9 minutes here, so we're going to go ahead and salt these and move on.
Absolutely.
Turn this up.
So they start smoking once you put the seasonings on?
Yeah, and once they get going here, they're going to get going.
Oh, gotcha. Oh, yeah. Yours definitely looks like it's getting a little hotter.
Yeah, I think so.
I knew yours was going to be badass, though. Everything they make is good. Dude. This rub that he makes is fantastic. He gave it to me last time I was here, and man, I love it. I use it on all kinds of shit. Need some help? Yeah. Oh, wow. They left the bone in for you, too?
Yep.
That's insane. Good deal. We got about 8 minutes.
Down a little bit here, and we'll just let that run.
That is doing so much better with that rack. Like, just from when you pulled it out the first time?
Okay. Yeah, because you're getting closer.
It's already doing so much better.
I'm gonna flip them. I'll flip them about 2 minutes, just to crisp up the other side.
Okay.
Mine might be done. I'm not sure about yours.
Yeah, yours might be done because you elevated yours.
It's higher, yeah.
Right. Yeah, you don't need to be making leather on here, Joe.
Yeah, right.
Oh, speaking of, so I know you don't mess with organ meats. Have you ever been?
Yeah, I mean, I do.
Do you? Oh, okay.
Like liver?
Yeah,
I eat a lot of liver. Yeah.
No shit.
Yeah.
Okay. I brought some dehydrated liver if you want to try it.
Dehydrated?
Yeah.
Like, what is that?
So it's liver jerky.
Oh, okay. I've never tried it.
I would wait until after we're done eating because it gets stuck in your teeth. Yeah. But
where'd you get that?
Have some. I made it.
Oh, okay.
So I wish I'd have bought grass-fed, grass-finished liver. I am going to do that. I'm going to get some from Chucktown Acres, which he's going to be coming on the pod. Alex from Chucktown Acres. That's going to be super cool. The regenerative farm that's, what's that town that it's in? It's north of here, about 40 minutes. McClellanville, I think is what it is.
Okay, yeah. 17.
Yeah, on 17. He, man, I think that's good.
Yours is a little slow.
Yeah. Oh, you got to pick it up. Yeah, there you go. But he's in McClellanville, and so grass-fed, grass-finished beef, forest-raised swine, pork. Okay. So his pork is forest-raised, which is awesome. Makes a huge difference in the quality of the pork. And then all of his chickens are pasture raised.
Okay.
So the eggs, so it's like really, really like this is the ideal farm that you want to go to get your food.
Right.
And I actually found out about him. I went to the farmer's market because I wanted to look for some high quality meat or milk, or I just wanted to go, and I went there. I actually bought a gallon of raw milk. I tried that. I don't know if you ever tried raw milk.
Uh-oh.
It tastes kind of cheesy. It's not exactly as yummy as regular milk, but like if you're looking for the nutrients of milk, there's no better way to get it.
Right.
But I bought some raw milk. I bought a goose egg, which I'd never had. Them things are freaking huge. It was delicious. And then I might have bought some beef tallow from him. No, I didn't buy beef tallow. But I did see that he had beef liver there. And I wish that I'd have got some grass-fed, grass-finished beef for this for the jerky. And I'm going to next time. But this,
I'm going to pull this one out.
Dude, that's insane.
That's pretty much right where you want it.
Yeah, it can't get any better than that.
But then
Grandma over here, Grandma Gourmet.
This one's going in here.
Yeah, there you go. Here, we'll just cut
that off. Yeah.
But yeah, it does take a little bit longer. That's one thing I've noticed. But that rack really helped. Well, when I tell you, like, it struggled. Oh yeah, it cools it off. Yeah, it'll run the fan for a minute, cool it off, and then it'll cut off.
Well, this should be should catch you up.
No, I think you are right. Yeah, there you go.
This should catch you up here.
Yeah.
We'll flip it at 1 minute and then get the other side.
Yeah, that thing's freaking sweet, and it's just a regular Ninja air fryer. It's not like a Ninja.
It's a Ninja Max.
Oh, okay. So that's why
the one that goes to 450.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
I think this is the one that Michelle sent me a picture of the other day. It was black though; it wasn't gray.
But that's the only. I mean, when they came out with that one at 450, that was the only one at the time, except for the $500 air fryers.
Yeah.
And so, but now they've come out with other ones. But and this is fine. It'll just take a little bit longer.
Yeah.
But it'll get you where you need to be. And using the rack helps. That's the reason they put the rack in there. Because I'm sure people complained that it wasn't getting
hot enough.
Hot enough, right?
It got up to 420 for me. That's as high as I could get it to go, though. But again, it's way better than the last one I had, and for the price,
yeah.
Dude, it actually came with a laminated sheet that tells you how to cook everything.
Okay.
With the times and the temperatures and everything, I was like, that's pretty damn cool. So I think they did really good with the product. I just don't think it quite reaches 450.
Yeah.
But that's why the rack's in there. It definitely did better this go around than it did this morning.
And that's a frozen solid 1.5 inch steak.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So
that's crazy. Just how that turned out is nuts. I mean,
this is the kicker here, though.
Yeah. Drip drop. Yeah, yours is so hot when it comes out.
Now, a lot of people will put butter on steak, but there's nothing better than tallow.
Mm-mm.
I mean, that's it right there.
All right, guys, we're gonna take it back to the table. And on that tallow conversation, so I was thinking about it the other day, and like butter and tallow are kind of the same thing. It's like either way, it's the fat of the cow, right? Because butter is made from milk, which is fat from a cow.
Right.
It's got a lot of other stuff in it, though, that we don't really need. The tallow is the pure fat from the cow. Like, I'd imagine the cow probably takes the fat, makes the milk, and then puts the milk out. So it's the cow's fat that makes the milk, right? I'll just take the cow's fat. I don't need to process it and process it and process it. So
well, and the reality of it is that if you have the butcher leave some fat on when they trim the steak, that's your tallow.
Right.
And then again, one way that you can save money on the carnivore diet is you're not buying butter because you're using the fat and putting it right on the steak. Now, if you don't have an air fryer and you want to cook it, say on the grill, get a little cast iron pan, put it off to the side, and put some of the fat in there and render that fat down while you're cooking the steak. And then you can either pour that onto the steak, or you can, if the pan's big enough, you can put the steak into the pan to finish it.
Oh, that's true.
And you still, you don't need to say, I'm going to put a big pat of butter on top of this. So
if you like the flavor, maybe like I get the flavor. The flavor of butter is a little bit better.
Yeah.
But maybe salted butter. Unsalted butter doesn't necessarily taste any better.
But well, and the other thing of it is it's a little bit of a cheat if you're cooking like a sirloin, like a New York strip. It's going to be less fatty of a meat, and so you have to add fat back to it.
Right.
Otherwise, it's dried out.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, I think we can cut into this.
Yeah, absolutely.
A lot of people say, "Oh, you have to let the steak rest for 10 minutes."
No, not anymore.
Not so.
Yeah, I did that the first 2 episodes. I did it to my stepmom and to my brother. I was like, "You got to let it rest. You got to let it rest."
You really don't.
I don't even let it rest no more.
So, but let's see what.
I love that rub.
And move this out of the way here and
good idea.
Just kind of show. So there's good medium rare.
That's perfect. And I can get. Oh, it is on silent. My watch isn't on silent. Oh yeah, look at that. That's beautiful. That is usually how I cook mine, right there. Just a little on the red side. That's perfect.
All right.
Oh yeah. I appreciate the steaks too, by the way, Joe.
You're welcome.
It's delicious. Same steak I got at the house, just cut thicker. Right? Isn't it the same? Wouldn't it be the same meat?
Yeah. Yeah, I just found 1.5 inches is kind of the sweet spot.
I really like that thickness. So this is it. If you ask them 1.5 inches, that's what they'll cut it to.
Mm-hmm.
Good deal. I will say though, on that sirloin topic with the fat, if you're gonna do sirloin, I go to Costco. You can find it somewhere else. The only place I've been able to find the sirloin tip with I buy the tip because it's got that fat cap on it.
You're talking about the whole roast?
Just the tip. Just the tip that they cut off, because it's like these really thin steaks that like the steak is not very wide, but it has a fat strip that runs along the whole thing. So I can literally just cut. It's a steak that's like this, and I just cut it like this, and I just eat bites, and every bite has a strip of fat on it and gristle. So if you're gonna do sirloin, buy the sirloin tip with the fat cap on there, and leave it on there when you cut it up.
Yeah.
That way you're getting your fat. Because every time I look at the sirloin steaks, I'm like, where's the fat at? There's no marbling or anything.
Well, and a lot of times they just trim it all off because people don't want it. I tell them that leave on at least 1/4 inch all the way around.
They can leave it all on for me. I did. So I told you I bought a brisket a while back. I froze a little baggie of all the fat, like all the fat clippings. I rendered some down last night and made some beef tallow. So
now this was 18 minutes, little bit less on mine, but obviously if you wanted to cook a little bit more, 20 minutes, 10 minutes on each side, season halfway through. But it just depends on how you like it.
I like the air fryer thing. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people in the comments You air fry a steak? Yeah, dude.
Well,
I ain't got all day.
The thing of it is, it's a matter of convenience.
Mhm.
And if you're having to go outside, I mean, if you live in an apartment, you can't have a barbecue grill. And if you have to go outside and fire up the grill or fire up charcoal, how often are you going to do it?
Mhm.
And if you're doing it every day, you got to find some way that's quick and convenient. And the nice thing is those trays go in the dishwasher and they're
Mhm.
ready to go the next day.
You don't have
And
to
so the
clean the
cleanup
grill.
cleanup is quick and easy. And the only caveat is, have a vent fan, because otherwise your whole apartment is going to smell like steak. And
Yeah.
not that that's a bad
I don't
thing,
mind it.
but you might get some criticism from your roommates.
Mhm. Very much so. What you really should do is air fry fish if you have roommates. That's the best thing to air fry. You stink up the whole house. Mm. Do you eat a lot of fish?
Not a lot.
No.
I eat fish. I eat chicken. Lamb,
Mhm.
pork, but nothing is as good as beef.
Right.
So,
Same.
it's kind of like if you eat chicken, it's not going to hold you for 24 hours.
No, I need more very soon because there's no fat.
Right.
Um,
Especially white meat.
it doesn't taste as good as it used to me anymore either. Like my taste buds have changed a lot.
Well,
Right.
the chicken's changed a lot too because they're just
Oh,
mass
really?
producing it and they're growing it as fast as they can.
Well, they've always been in my lifetime. It's always been that though.
I think even more so though. It's
Really?
all about basically it's a combination of science and business, and
Right.
they're looking for how can we produce it as fast as we can. That's why the
For our
chicken has just got
shareholders.
like large globs of fat on it, which the old farm raised chickens, they never had that high fat content.
Right.
And I'm just talking about just globs of fat.
And chicken fat. That's a nasty fat, dude. That's not something I can eat. A lot of beef fat. I can literally just eat the fat. Chicken, when I get a fatty piece of chicken in my mouth, it still is not yummy to me. Like
Right.
there's something just gross about it. Chicken and pork. I don't. Of course, bacon. Like who can't like bacon? But I think even that is because of the high salt content. Um, like salt's my new sugar. But pork in general, it just something about when I eat it. Like this steak, I'll probably sit here and kill this whole steak. But with pork, eggs, and chicken, I have to force myself to eat it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like there's not enough fat in it. My body's like, no, there's no fat in here. Pork is a little bit different though. Pork's got plenty of fat in it, but my body is almost saying like, this is gross. Like there's something yucky going on here. Like it's telling me not to eat it, And I think one of my theories about eating like this, eating more primal, is your body kind of gets more primal with the way, like my sense of smell. I've always had a terrible sense of smell. I can hardly breathe, even though I got a big old sniffer. I can hardly breathe, and I got a terrible sense of smell. But since I've been on carnivore, I can open raw, cooked, any meat, and like any kind of any. I'm like, no, like my sniffer works better. Like it's like no, like God gave you the sniffer to be able to tell what to eat, what not to eat, what to touch, what not to touch.
What's good, what's not good.
Exactly.
Yep.
And now it works so much better. And I won't say like because of my diet. I think it's just because I don't have all this bullshit in me. Like if you're eating 400 or 500 different items every month, like a variety, like your immune system, your senses, everything's going to be so out of whack because it's not used to anything. You don't have any kind of routine. And I know that's not a there ain't no scientific talk behind that, but you get what I'm saying. Like, I just don't think you can have that much in your body and then your body know what's going on.
Right. Well, I mean, there's many people, probably the majority of the population walking around that are just chronically inflamed. They don't feel good. They don't know why they don't feel good. They're not sleeping well. Their joints hurt. They have reflux. They have fatty liver disease, and unfortunately, there's a pill for everything. But
It's always got side effects.
But the thing of it is, it's always got side effects, and then there's a pill for the side effects.
Yep.
But the reality is, if you eat a proper diet, then you don't need any of the pills, and you feel great.
Mm-hmm. Back to the reflux. So I heard the word the other day, acid reflux. Now, I used to have real bad heartburn. I mean, it was not okay for me to leave the house without Rolaids in the truck. Mm-hmm. And I heard the word acid reflux the other day, and I was like, wait a minute. I haven't had any acid reflux since I've been on Carnivore. I've had no more heartburn. And I had bad heartburn, bad heartburn. Like to the point where it was literally coming up and it was burning my throat. I was like, this is not okay.
Well, and another thing that people experience is complete resolution of sleep apnea.
Mm-hmm.
And, that happens relatively quickly, even with a small amount of weight loss. And so then you're not having to wear a CPAP machine and deal with the increased, morbidity and mortality of having sleep apnea.
I won't say I had sleep apnea, but I had, no, it's not sleep apnea at all. I have troubles going to sleep. Had troubles going to sleep. I used to have to lay down, if I wasn't like dead, like just drained, it would take me like a minimum of 30 minutes to go to sleep, a minimum. And that's been that way for a long time. If I go to bed and I'm still awake, I might as well get up and go do something because I'm not going to sleep. I will literally lay there for hours and watch the ceiling. Like I got to do something. I don't have that anymore. Now I can actually lay down. Like if I'm like, okay, it's time for bed, but I'm not like quite tired, I can still lay down. I can put my head down and I can actually go to sleep in like 10 minutes, if that. And not only that, but when I wake up in the middle of the night because I got to pee or something, when I lay my head back down, I would have to like literally leave the light off in the bathroom.
Or you'd be up all night.
Or I'd be up all night. Yeah. I'd leave the light off. Now I don't have to do that. I lay back down and I go right back to sleep. So that's one thing. Another thing that I realized day before yesterday, I heard somebody talking about, I don't remember what it's called. When you sit down for too long and then you stand up and you get dizzy.
Mm-hmm. Orthostatic hypotension.
Yes. Yeah. I wasn't going to remember that one.
Yeah.
I've had that my whole life, like as long as I can remember, and to the point where I can't be down there squatting for more than 3 seconds. If I do, I know I'm going to be dizzy when I get up. Like there's been so many times. I mean, I can remember talking to you one time being dizzy from right there, being squatted down. It's just a normal thing that I just got used to. And like, I literally got to the point where I'm dizzy, but I can still talk to you for 2 seconds while I gain my consciousness. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like I've gotten used to it. And that went away. I realized the other day, I was like, holy crap, I don't get dizzy anymore when I stand up. So all this stuff that I didn't even know was a thing. Like I didn't start this to stop all those things, but it's a blessing that all those things went away. I didn't realize.
Well, and a lot of people criticize high salt intake, but the reality of it is it's not the salt intake that's the problem. It's the carbohydrates that you consume with the salt. So if you eat a big bag of salty potato chips, you're probably going to feel bad and your blood pressure could go up afterwards. Blood pressure is going up because you're retaining fluid, not because of the salt, because of the carbohydrate. And so your body will utilize what sodium it needs and it will eliminate what it doesn't need. And the body is set up to be able to manipulate and regulate your sodium. It's not set up to regulate your carbohydrates. So carbohydrates are energy, either use it or turn it to fat.
Right.
That's all it's going to do. Use it or turn it to fat. And in the process, you're retaining a lot of fluid.
Mm-hmm. But with the magnesium and potassium and sodium, you're just peeing it out if you got too much.
That's right.
Well, that being said, you still don't want to, like, if you're supplementing, you got to be careful because you could take too much. That's something that I was.
Yeah, but if you're eating a proper diet, you don't need a supplement. I mean, beyond what you're losing if you're like you're sweating or working out.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say.
Yeah.
It was just at work that I started having problems, but I wasn't replacing my sodium.
Right.
I started, like, have you ever heard of Soleil water?
Mm-mm.
So it's basically, and you may know another name for it. I think it's an old school thing, but you take like a mason jar, you take like a cup or two of pink Himalayan salt, some kind of high quality sea salt, and you take like a cup or two and you put it in a mason jar, fill it up with some spring water, and you shake it up and you let it set on the counter overnight, and it'll all settle down. And what it does is it maximizes it sitting overnight. That salt settles, and the absolute most salt that can be in that water is in that water.
It's saturated.
Yes, it's completely saturated. Like the grams per liter or deciliter or whatever are as high as they can be. In both, and in doing that, you also get like the trace amounts of magnesium and potassium, or the trace minerals that are in the salt. So you make this water, and then you just take a teaspoon of it and you put it in your bottled water, and you just kind of, like, if you're sweating, if you're out there working, when you go to drink the water that you're drinking, only if you're sweating, you put 1 teaspoon of the Soleil water in there, and it doesn't make it too salty at all. It's such a good way to replace your sodium. You just got to be careful because you can easily get too much sodium. Mm-hmm. Like if you're done sweating, don't be drinking more of it, because you don't need to take in more. But
and a lot of people will eat a pickle.
Oh yeah, that's true.
And again, if you're true carnivore, you're not eating a pickle. But if you're more keto, there's nothing wrong with having a pickle, and they sell them in single envelopes.
How do you think pickle juice would affect you on carnivore? It's vinegar.
It's brine. It's basically salt water, right?
Yeah, because I love pickle juice. Mm-hmm. I love pickles.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm not opposed. I'm not opposed to eating pickles. I think if you're going to have a snack, eat some pickles. Right. It's a lot better than a lot of the other stuff you could be eating.
And a pickle is a cucumber, which is like the fruit of the plant, essentially. I mean, it's a vegetable, but it's the fruit of the plant, which I think, back to Paul Saladino, he makes a good point that the roots, the leaves, all that stuff is, the seed, all that stuff is protected because it's for survival of the plant. Right. So the fruit is literally like, hey,
that's what's meant to be eaten.
Mm-hmm.
Right. But
that's why it's pretty and got the flour on it. And
again, in moderation. I mean, Is it okay to have a slice of watermelon? I think so. Is it okay to eat an entire watermelon? Probably not. But
I think that's going to be. I want to try to reintroduce things. I already know the things that aren't going to work. I'm not going to try to reintroduce a bunch of carbohydrates or anything like that. The main thing that I want to try is the fruit before work, or like when I get to work, I want to eat orange and see what it does for me, or eat a banana.
Mm-hmm.
What out of all the fruits, what would you recommend in that?
I mean, I guess the highest sugar content that you want to stay away with is grapes.
Really?
You can eat a lot of grapes, and you're really going to bounce your sugar with that.
Okay.
But
you think an orange would be the best move for that then? Maybe an orange or...
I really don't know. Probably better than a banana. But
banana will be too much.
It just, like I said, it's an individual thing, and it depends on what you like and what you want.
Probably depends on what you can burn off too.
Right.
And them masonry guys that are or concrete guys that are breaking up concrete all day, they can probably take a few more.
Well, if you have a desk job, then you probably shouldn't be.
Don't need any. Yeah.
Yeah,
I definitely feel like that was nature's like energy. I feel like that's nature's Gatorade. You know what I mean? Like that's, I feel like it has a purpose, but if you just sit there and eat it all day, you're abusing it and you should get fat for it. It's very interesting. To kind of see the changes that your body goes through when you just eat different.
Well, and the big thing is don't eat different for a month and then go back to regular and expect changes, because that's not the way it works.
So I told you I'm on TikTok now, and I got a lot of followers that are or I don't have a lot of followers, but I've got quite a few followers, and all of them are like carnivore, and I also follow them back, and so like there's like a community in my phone of carnivore, and I see so much like I see quite a few people on there that like they're like, I've been carnivore for 2 years, I still haven't lost any weight, but then like in the next video they're putting half a stick of butter in a cup of coffee, and they're using monk fruit, and they're
Whole cream,
honey, whole cream. Yeah.
right?
They're drinking a gallon of milk a day.
You can definitely, I mean, you can gain weight on any
anything.
diet, right? But
if you can eat enough of this stuff, you gain weight. It's just you're just not going to.
Right.
It's so hard.
And,
I tried.
And the reality is, if you eat one steak a day, then you're never going to be in a position where you're having significant overconsumption of calories.
Right. You're never
going to be hungry.
Yeah. As long as a steak a day is enough for you.
Right.
Yeah. Caloric.
Yeah. I mean, if you're working out and you need 2 steaks a day, then that's fine. But if you're hungry, eat a steak first. And I think there's a great YouTube that's 6 Miles to Supper, and she's not keto and she's not carnivore, but she does intermittent fasting. With ultimately, she ended up with 1 meal a day, and her whole thing is, I walk 6 miles a day, I eat dinner, whatever I want, whatever my family's having, and then I won't eat until the next evening. And so she's limiting her caloric intake overall, and she's burning off her sugars with the exercise.
Right.
But she's not powerlifting. She's not doing a bunch of cardio. Just walking. And she lost a significant amount of weight. She's kept it off, and she's living the lifestyle that she wants. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
And she said that if there's something that she's really craving during the day, she'll make a promise to herself: I'm not going to eat that now. If I have dinner and I still want it after dinner, then I can have it. And so you give yourself that permission. And she said, and sometimes after dinner, I'll have it, but I won't have as much as I would have. Or sometimes after dinner, I'm fine, and that urge has passed, and it's like I no longer need
or want it. It doesn't even look yummy anymore.
Exactly, exactly. But it's and I guess that's a little bit of a mind game. But if you put yourself in the mindset, it's like, well, I can eat whatever I want whenever I want after I have a ribeye.
Exactly.
Then even if you decide, well, I'm still going to do it, you're not going to eat as much. And if you're eating strictly for health reasons, and you say, I don't want to be diabetic, then you're probably going to make the right choice and say, I'm just not going to do it at all. But I think you have to give yourself permission. You have to give yourself grace. And and if you do slip up and you have a cheat meal, just get right back on and keep going.
Right. One of the guys that I follow, it's funny you say that. He posted a video today. He posted a video yesterday. He was like, man, I've been off carnivore for 30 days. I done gained back like 10 pounds already. He's like, I should have just stayed on carnivore. And then he's like, I'm going back on tomorrow. Today, he posts a video. It's like when you know you're going back on your diet tomorrow, and he pulls up to a drive-through. He orders all the bad shit. He's like, oh, and let me get a milkshake, and can you put some cookies on that? And like he just keeps adding stuff and adding stuff. I'm like, this guy. He was doing it to be funny,
Yeah.
but it was pretty
Yeah.
funny.
But
He's like, I'm going hard after this, so let's just go ahead. And I feel like now if I ate like that, I'd probably put myself in a coma or something.
Yeah.
Like if I ate a milkshake and then a burger and then I don't think I could do it.
Yeah. Well, it's one step forward, two steps back if if you get in that mindset. So you're better off saying, look where I was, look where I've been, look where I am now, and look where I'm going. Why you want to wreck that?
Mm-hmm.
And and one thing is, if you're in a diet where you're basically limiting everything you eat and starving yourself, then it's not going to last sustainably.
Mm-hmm.
And if it's not sustainable, it's not going to work. And that's the reason so many diets fail. But if you make the mind shift, it's like, look, I'm doing this for all the various reasons. My energy benefits, my brain fog is cleared. My joints don't hurt, and my hemoglobin A1C has come down. My doctor's happy because he's not going to be putting me on diabetic medication, and so forth. Then you're more inclined to stay on it and keep moving forward.
Right.
And people talk about again how expensive steak is. You don't have to eat steak. You can eat ground beef. Mm-hmm. It's okay. But the reality of it is, all the medications and all the doctor's visits and all the complications
are way more expensive.
And
let's throw money away. Let's take money out of the equation. Let's just talk about health.
That's right. Yeah, because if you don't have your health, you don't have anything.
Mm-hmm.
And that's exactly right.
Mm-hmm.
And you can be the richest guy in the world, but if you don't have health, what do you got?
What was it RFK said? He said, a healthy man dreams for everything, for many things, but a sick man only dreams for one.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. If you're healthy, you can
do anything.
Can do more. I want to do more. Like this podcast. Like I just want to do more. Another thing that I've noticed, and I see a lot of people talking about the way they feel. Like Michaela Peterson talks about how her anxiety comes back if she has any seed oils or anything like that. And at first I was like, that's crazy. That's far-fetched. Like I see all the benefits and stuff, but that's far-fetched. She's not kidding. Like I used to be very insecure about a lot of different things and have anxiety about a lot of different things. Still a very anxious person. I'm naturally just kind of wired that way. But it doesn't get to me. Like things don't get to me the way they did before. Mm-hmm. I mean, because
you're steady state.
Yeah, exactly.
You're not like a roller coaster.
Mm-hmm. I'd imagine my hormones aren't doing this.
Well, and it's not your hormones and your blood glucose, and you're not having crashes, and so basically, when you're in steady state, then you're able to deal with whatever comes at you, and you're better situated for it. So, absolutely, she's about as hardcore as it gets, though.
Michaela?
And yeah.
And
needs to be, for she said that, that makes her, that's the right place for her.
Mm-hmm.
And, so there's nothing wrong with it.
Same with Chafee. He's doing, I'm going to put this over here.
Yeah,
I'm going to finish it, but I just feel rude just sitting here eating.
No, you go ahead.
Sure?
No, yeah, go ahead. No, absolutely.
Chafee is the reason that I cut coffee. I heard a video of him talking to somebody about when he cut coffee. And, he's a big gym monkey, athlete and everything. He's like, I train every day. I go to the gym. He said, I quit having coffee. Not that like he was trying to cut it or anything, but he cut coffee. Like he just didn't have coffee for like 4 days. He said on day 4, he went to the gym and it was leg day. He was doing squats. And he was like, man, I just keep going and I'm not getting sore. I'm not getting tired. And he's like, it's weird. He's normally carnivore, but all he cut out was coffee. And he's like, man, that's weird. He's like, so I just kept going and kept going and kept going. He said, after 32 sets of squats, which is insane, no matter what weight it is, like 32 sets of squats is ridiculous. He's like, I had to leave because I had been at the gym for 4 hours and I had stuff I had to do. Like, but I thought the next day I would be dead. No, the next day I'm playing rugby. The day after that, I'm hiking through the woods. And I was like, that's crazy. And all he did was cut coffee. And not saying that like don't drink coffee and you'll be Superman, but he said it cut out just enough inflammation, I guess, to where like I'd imagine. And he has a couple different talks with people about dehydration and caffeine and stuff like that. I cut the coffee and I noticed I do feel a little bit less inflammation in my back, but I feel like that's more a dehydration thing. I feel like because caffeine is dehydrating, right?
Yeah.
I feel like it's more of a dehydration thing.
Can be dehydrating, yeah.
I think.
Yeah. But the other thing is with coffee, again, just like with sugar, you're going to get a spike because you're getting the caffeine spike, and then you're getting, the low, the crash, right?
Right.
And so, again, you're kind of, messing with your system.
The other thing is, I can't just drink a cup of coffee. I got to drink it all day. You've seen me do that.
Yeah.
You've seen me do that.
Absolutely. And I do as well.
Oh yeah.
But again, better to drink black coffee than Coca-Cola.
And I also think too, you've probably been drinking coffee for 20 years longer than I have. So by now, your body has probably built quite.
Yeah.
And I probably don't mess with you at all.
And I can stop coffee, but I don't have like major withdrawals or anything. But it's I don't find that I feel tremendously better when I stop coffee. So again, it's kind of what makes you,
it really is a per person thing. Yeah.
Right.
And especially like going back to the carbs thing, like you said, if you have a desk job, you can eat a steak a day, not that I need carbohydrates, but it would not benefit you at all. If you're sitting at a desk to eat carbs, it's not going to benefit you at all.
But if you're eating carbs and then going into the gym, you're burning that off, and it's not going to have as adverse effect on you. Now you are going to kind of shut down your fat burning, but that's when a lot of people are they're bulking. They don't want to burn. They don't want to be in a calorie deficit, and so they're perfectly fine with that.
Now, when you that is what I was wondering. So like you get your body to a point where it's burning fat, in ketosis, right? It's burning fat. And then you all of a sudden put sugars and carbs into it. Does that like completely throw everything in your gut off and stuff like that? Or is it like a temporary thing? Yeah.
No, it throws off your gut, but it also throws off your whole metabolism because immediately it's going to shift to number one, burning the sugars because that's easier. But then it's going to take any excess and it's going to turn that into fat.
Right.
But the only way that you're going to lose fat is to be in a calorie deficit. Period. End.
And that is a for sure thing.
Yep.
The calorie deficit.
And I don't believe that it's calories in, calories out, because I think that there are good calories and bad calories, and I think that the calories from a ribeye steak are better than the calories from a box of Dunkin' Donuts.
Alcohol. This was something else interesting. Alcohol gives you 7 calories. It's second in the highest fuel source, 7 calories per gram. But those ain't good calories.
No,
it can't be good calories.
And again, it's it has to be processed by the liver, and that's that's just someplace you don't want to be. So
just having things
you're putting stuff in. Well, you're just putting stuff in your body that your body doesn't need, and your body really can't use. So it has to convert it into something it can use. And so that's that's kind of the knock against the fructose, and it's a knock against the ethanol.
Right.
So
either way, it's gonna mess with like your general, like, so if I start reintroducing fruit the way I'm talking about, just with work, just as like it's like the carbohydrates have it's like fat with a camel pack on. You know, it's got water because it's got those 2 water molecules. So I think it could be useful for me at work. But I wonder if I eat the fruit at work, when I get done working, am I going to feel like shit? Am I going to have digestive problems tonight when I eat my steak? Is it going to mess with me like long term, or is it probably back to, you know, well, just don't eat 4 oranges and 2 bananas. Like, just eat 1 orange. It probably is just a moderation thing.
I think so. Yeah, I mean, you know, just like if you said, well, you know, I'm going out on Saturday night and I'm going to have 1 drink.
Mm-hmm.
Well, then have 1 drink,
right?
And more likely, you know, I mean, make that you know, a liquor drink as opposed to a beer or a wine. Just because
something full of carbs.
Just because of the carbs. Right. Exactly. Yep. And you know, I have a friend who he went keto, and he found out that if he drank a 12-ounce can of beer, he would gain 3 pounds. And people would say, well, how is that possible? Well, because your body's sucking in all that water and retaining it because of the carbohydrates that you've consumed that your body's not been used to. And so essentially now you have it's water fluid. Now, you know, yes, you go back to keto, you're going to lose the water fluid, but you're going to gain it back. And a lot of people say, well, then why would I go on a keto diet when all you're doing is losing water? Well, first you lose water, and that immediately helps you. But then you start losing fat, and
because it's burning up,
and you reverse insulin resistance and all the side effects from that, and you're modulating your glucose so that you're not having these high spikes, and so through all that you get long-term benefits. And they say, yeah, but if I do this for 30 days or 60 days and then I go back to a standard diet, I'm just going to gain back all that water weight.
Yeah, I'm supposed to go back to a standard diet.
Number one, yeah. Why are you going back to a standard diet?
Right.
Okay. It's more of a knock on the standard diet than it is a knock on the keto diet.
Right.
Number one. And number two, even if you go back after 60 days, the benefits that your body has incurred over those 60 days by losing the water weight, losing the fat that you've burned over time, and getting out of the insulin resistance. If you go back to a standard diet, but you do it in moderation, you're going to be a lot better positioned than you would be if you had never done it in the first place.
Right.
So
you did some healing that needed to be done,
exactly,
which made it easier for you to get back in the game.
And if you're in tune with your body at that point, then you'll realize the benefits, and you'll say, you know what, I'm just going to continue because if I go back to the standard diet, I feel bad.
That in tune with your body thing is a huge thing. I think there's a lot of things. I noticed I was having heart palpitations.
And caffeine will do that too. So cutting the coffee.
I was trying to supplement electrolytes. Like I was overdoing the potassium because I didn't realize how much potassium comes in red meat. You actually get a lot of it. But I was using MyFitnessPal. It's an app that you can like track macros of, you put in everything you eat in, right? But the problem is that I can put something in there, and when you go to click it and use it, I'm the one who put it in there. I didn't enter that it gets 500 milligrams of potassium per steak.
I got you.
So I was putting in all these steaks, and nobody was worried. Everybody's worried about calories and carbs. I'm worried about. The whole reason I did it was for potassium, magnesium, and sodium, because I was struggling with the electrolytes at work, and I really was trying to find my numbers on what I needed, and I was trying to get the proper amount of this and this and this, and it was like I was trying to do science, and really just using the Soleil water and keeping some magnesium on me, and then the club soda. The club soda's got the potassium in it. You know, I know that I can drink a club soda and it's not going to kill me if I'm, you know, leaning one way or the other. Right. So if I drink a club soda and I start to feel better, then I know I need more potassium. So then I may go take a little potassium pill, which is like 99 milligrams. But if I drink club soda, and if I ate salt and I drink water and that didn't work, and then I drank club soda and that didn't work, then I need to take a magnesium pill. It's just kind of the way that I do it now. But before, I was trying to balance all these numbers.
You can get in trouble with supplements real quick.
And
there's not a lot of science involved, and there's a lot of bad information. And they have low dose and high dose and double dose, and so the body is very good at regulating, but you can overload it for sure.
This was the problem here. It's not the problem. I
That's
think
potassium, right?
it's just straight potassium.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
I think it's really handy if you know you're low on potassium. But I didn't realize how much potassium I was getting from the red meat because it was entered improperly into my FitnessPal. So I was taking about 7,000 milligrams of sodium a day.
That's high.
5,000 was supplemental. 5,000 was just straight salt in my water. That's a lot.
Mm-hmm. That's
now,
a lot.
7,000 when you're sweating a lot and stuff, it's high, but sometimes, from what I'm hearing, people when they're in the low carb diets and stuff like that, some people struggle more to get that sodium. Mm-hmm. So I wasn't too worried about the sodium number, but I was actually getting about 2,500 milligrams of potassium, which is plenty. Like if you're at 5,000, 2,500 is a good number for mm-hmm. potassium compared to sodium, from what I found anyways. So I'm already getting my 2,500 milligrams of potassium from the red meat that I didn't think I was getting. So I started taking this. I was like, that's definitely what it is. I drank a club soda one day and I started feeling better. And I was like, oh, I'm low on potassium. So I start supplementing potassium because my app said I was low on it. Well, once I changed on my meats, I went and actually looked at the macros on each meat. And I was like, there's no potassium. But I went on AI, on Grok, and I was like, hey, how much potassium is there in red meat? And it's like, oh, there's a bunch. And I was like, what's going on? Changed everything over. I've been getting plenty of potassium. I've been getting around 2,000, 2,500 milligrams a day, which is more than enough. And if my body doesn't need it, it will pee it out. So I don't need to be taking potassium. Mm-hmm. The magnesium is the only one that I think I ask AI a lot of questions, but magnesium is just not there nowadays, like in the food, like mm-hmm. it's supposed to be. Like realistically, when I eat my red meat, there should be enough magnesium in it that I'm fine, that I don't need magnesium. But from what AI was saying, you kind of have to supplement magnesium almost, like especially if you're draining a bunch of water and stuff like that. I think you're going to have to, so that is a good note to have. Like if I'm out there sweating and working, I can take a 250 milligram pill of magnesium mm-hmm. and I'm not going to feel pain from it. But if I'm sitting at home and I take a 250 milligram magnesium, I'll start getting palpitations. This shit though.
From the magnesium.
Yeah.
Okay.
So from what I read, any kind of imbalance will start causing palpitations. I was going from 70 beats per minute. I had it. I could probably show it to you on my watch too from the other day. I was going from like 70 beats to like 120 beats per minute, mm-hmm. and this was from minute to minute. Like I was just watching it, mm-hmm. and it would go from 70 to 126, and then back down to 65, and like while I'm watching it, and I can just feel my heart just if it's pounding, and then it'll be slow, but it hurts. It hurts when it gets slow, and I was taking too much potassium, man. Probably too much magnesium too, because I was just trying to play.
But you never got it checked.
What's that?
You never got your labs checked.
No.
Yeah. So I mean, that's one caveat to this entire discussion is that everybody is at a different point, mm-hmm. and they have health issues. They should have a physician. They should be in concert with their physician. If you find a physician who is completely against keto or carnivore, then find a different physician.
Right.
And I think that of recent, there's a lot more recognition of the benefits of keto and carnivore.
Right.
And so it should be easier to find somebody that you can work with to make sure that your labs are okay and to make sure that you're doing the right thing. And if somebody's a type 1 diabetic, then they probably, are going to have to, be receiving sugar and monitoring their insulin and so forth. Type 2 diabetes, you can actually cure with keto or carnivore where you no longer require any medication.
But type
1, you have to. Yeah, because you're not producing any insulin at all, or so much, so low that it's not significant. And so anyway, but as I started out saying, your mileage may vary. The other part is your health is individual, and you should have individual care, and you should
Right.
have that under the care of somebody. And if you say, hey, look, here's what I think's going on, get your labs checked and make sure that that's not what's going on. And then, it could be something else.
Right.
There's a lot of people that are having cardiac issues related to COVID vaccine. Again, that's one of the biggest side effects of that is cardiac conduction issues. So
from the vaccine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And, usually that was like immediately post vaccination, more prevalent in young males. But in the same respect, there's people that are having long-term results or long-term side effects, I should say, as a result of it. And so, again, everything needs to be under, I think, some level of medical care.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I agree. I think I wish that it was more of a regular thing for people, not just specifically carnivore. I think every doctor knows what keto is, and they probably know something about how to cater towards it in some way. But I do wish there was more out there. I mean, because if you go through my phone right now and you see the people that are in the carnivore community, they're not people that are going to the doctor. They're like me. I go to the doctor when I need to. And they're all like that. So I'd imagine they're all just like me, very skeptical to go to the doctor because they're just going to tell me I'm crazy or they're going to give me a medication. So I'm very skeptical to go to a doctor as well, but I wish there was more information for the general healthcare, for people in healthcare. I wish there was more information about all of the diets and how to cater to them specifically. So this is what I was talking about with the giving blood earlier. It was one of the questions I wanted to ask you. So that goes to, let's say I go to give blood, and I think we touched on it to a point where it's not going to hurt you, but when I gave blood back in 8th grade, I started getting dizzy and they tilted me back. And then they gave me, they fed me a peanut butter and jelly beforehand, and because I hadn't eaten anything, and then they gave me a soda. But I was thinking, damn, I wonder if there's any kind of situation where an emergency situation where this guy is passed out on the ground. He just passed out from whatever, but you go to do something to, not resuscitate, but to, assist him. And then oh no, he's on a carnivore diet. You can't give him this. Or you know what I mean? Is there anything that you really need to know before you go doing this? Is there anything that you can think of offhand?
Not really. I would say if you had a reaction like that when you were, in 8th grade, which I didn't realize they were actually taking blood. Yeah. Was that
South Carolina.
Just a blood test, or was that blood donation?
Blood donation. Well, actually, I think I was in 9th grade.
Okay.
But I was, I met the physical requirements. You had to be so big or something like that.
Yeah.
In the school.
Yeah, but it's usually age. I thought it was 16. But anyway, having said that, you should definitely go, but don't jump out of the chair and plan on driving to work. You should take your time, get out of the chair, go sit in their waiting area, make sure you're doing okay, drink some water. You don't need to eat all their sugary snacks that they have.
No.
And if you want to, you can take some beef jerky or something with you and try that, and have something. But when I donate blood, I don't have any side effect at all. I just get up and I walk out. But it's fairly common for people to vasovagal when they get stuck with a needle, and that's probably what happened with you.
Just seeing it, I instantly was. Oh. Right. Yeah, I did with this too. When this was cut open, as soon as I opened my hand and I saw it, I was done.
You get that. Yeah, you get that. But anyway, but I mean, it's good to get your labs checked. The problem is, what are you going to do with the results? And depending on who you go to, if you go to somebody and say, oh, your cholesterol is too high, we need to put you on a statin. No, you don't need to be on a statin. You need to say, look, here's what's going on. But if you let them know on the outset, listen, and you don't say I'm on a carnivore diet. You just say I am on a low carb diet.
Yeah.
Nobody's on a no carb diet.
No.
You can't. It's impossible. So
I still get 3 grams of carbs a day when I check my thing.
Yeah, but if you say I'm on a low carb diet, and anybody with a low carb diet means that they're on a high protein, high fat diet, their cholesterol is going to be higher. Okay. But all their labs are going to look much better, and their hemoglobin A1C is going to be okay.
Yep.
And so then, my physician, he said, well, I want to get some labs. And I said, that's fine. I said, but if my cholesterol is high, I don't want to hear about statins.
Yeah.
And he said, I got you. And so now if you have somebody who says you need to take these statins or find another physician, then, find another physician,
Yeah.
and that's perfectly fine. There's places where you can go to get your labs checked that, you don't have to be going for routine doctor's visits and so
Right.
forth. I know that on even on YouTube, you can find physicians that are licensed that can, call any orders for you to a LabCorp or whatever, and you can go your blood drawn. It just depends on how much you want to spend and what you want to do. But if you just want to, get a baseline panel to see where things are, perfectly fine. If you're having an individual medical issue, whether it be ongoing, tachycardia, palpitations, or arrhythmia, or whatever, then you probably should see somebody and get checked out for it.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to, not that your diet, could be part of it, but your diet could be totally unrelated to it. And what's the point of being on a diet that makes you healthy if you don't address the other issues?
Right.
Just like if the engine in your car is running just fine, but your transmission's out of whack, you better get your transmission fixed, or you're still going to be stuck on the side of the road.
Right.
And better to get it fixed before it completely breaks, because now you need a new transmission.
Yep.
So anyway, all right. Well, anything else?
I had a few products I want to show you.
Okay.
So nothing crazy. So I told you I met with a lady today. So her son is starting a little podcast. I'll go ahead and pull everything up. Her son's starting a little podcast called Geo Serves. And I sold her some microphones, because we had some old microphones from our podcast. This is the liver jerky. If you want to try a piece of it, it's literally just liver and salt dehydrated. And if you've never had liver jerky, it's
okay.
It's a try. As long as you like liver meat.
Have you had other liver jerky or just your own?
No, I just thought about it. I thought about it the other day, and I was like, I could dehydrate. I was thinking about, I wanted to eat liver because I know it's got really good nutrients. It's the most nutrient dense organ in the body that you can eat, from what I understand. So I was like, I really would like to enjoy liver. And I heard somebody say, soaking it in milk before you cook it can make it better, and dehydrating it. So I was like, I'll try the dehydration. And I was like, I could do that. I thought about dehydrating it and then grinding it in the food processor and making my own supplements is what I was going to do. But then
you don't need to do that.
No, I think that's unnecessary. I could just chew on it. Right.
How'd you cut it so thin?
It came like that. So it comes like yay thick. By the time you dehydrate it, it's that thin.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, it sucks a lot of juice out of there. I also, the other thing I was thinking about doing.
I like that.
Yeah, good.
Put salt on it?
A little bit. I want to put more next time. Yeah. Because one thing about dehydrating is you put the salt on there, the salt doesn't evaporate, but everything gets smaller.
Right.
So you end up having more salt. So you got to be careful about over salting.
Yeah.
But I want more for sure. Yeah.
I think it's very good.
Good. Yeah, I think it was a good solution for the whole not being. I just couldn't palate the liver, and this is like making it easier for me because I'll chew on that and chew on it while I'm at work, and once my body knows every time you eat this you feel good, then your palate will just adjust to it. That's another thing I think
you tend to crave it.
Right, exactly, because your body's going to hunt what it needs. It's super efficient in that manner, but. Back to this. So the company's name is Manifest Love, and they make beef tallow based products. And I haven't got a chance to try it, but it smells really good.
Is this like a sample pack?
No. So her son only had like $28. He was like, I want to pay for it, myself, and he had been saving up money. She's like, he only has $28, but I was selling it for $50. And I was on her Facebook page, and I was like, well, I see you sell like tallow products, and I've been on the carnivore diet, and I've been really wanting to get some tallow products for my girlfriend because I thought about using my beef tallow, because if you buy a whole brisket, you don't need all that beef tallow. But there's a lot on there. So I thought about making my girlfriend some lotion or something, because if you go on TikTok and you look up tallow skincare, the girls are raving about it, and none of them are talking about carnivore or anything like that.
You can make a lot of soap out of it.
There's so much good stuff you can do with it. That stuff you can put anywhere on your body, and it helps your hair, your skin, anywhere. This is a sunscreen that they have, and it smells phenomenal. My girlfriend is Filipino, and she's a sun bum, so she's going to get some sunscreen. But it smells phenomenal.
Smells like tea tree. Is that tea tree? What is that?
It might be. There's directions and ingredients for each one. Actually, the ingredients are...
It might be.
Sunscreen.
It smells good. Let's see. It might say it on the back here.
I think it does say it on the thing. Yeah, see, this one has it there, so it should be on there. They smell phenomenal, and they look really... They look like they're clean, like they're good texture. I'm excited about it. They're local though. They're
it says frankincense, which is what's in that too.
Yes.
And sandalwood and peppermint and geranium.
I love sandalwood. Frankincense. I had never heard about frankincense oil until this.
Oh yeah. Well, frankincense and myrrh. That's what they brought to the to the Koresh at the Nativity.
What?
The Nativity. When Jesus
was born, got you.
The three kings brought frankincense and myrrh.
Oh, makes sense, because they're very big on religion.
That was like more expensive than gold.
Really?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
And it's a
spice, like a
spice.
Yeah, I think it's a bark.
So it's like the what's that thing that's really expensive now? It's a thing that grows on the ground. You know what I'm talking about? They dust it over stuff. Truffles.
Oh yeah, truffles.
Actual truffles are really expensive.
But frankincense. That's why they brought frankincense, gold, frankincense, and myrrh. The frankincense and myrrh was like more valuable than the gold.
That's crazy.
Because gold was kind of ubiquitous, but you had to go. The frankincense only came from one place.
Huh.
So
that's crazy.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Well,
a lot of people use the use the tallow for all of their cooking. You can use it to season the grates on your grill. You can use it to.
That's what I do. I season my cast irons with it.
Season the cast iron.
I got it.
And it's perfect.
Yeah, it works great.
It doesn't burn like butter does.
Yeah.
Or oils. It doesn't get rancid and scorched like that.
Yeah, it does a lot better.
So,
it smells a lot cleaner too when you go to actually season it. It smells a lot better. But the other thing, I know I asked you about iodine. I got this Lugol solution. I'm sure you've heard about it and seen it. Yeah. I've been doing 1 drop a day. I don't want to go any higher than that, because I've read people, they start taking more and more and more. Yeah. And then once they stop taking it for a day, and they have this panicking anxiety.
Huh.
And I don't know. I think that's related to hydration in some way, because if I'm dehydrated, I'm having anxiety. My heart's doing the palpitations and stuff like that. So,
I have not gone down that path. I have no opinion whatsoever, plus or minus on it.
Right. I was curious.
I think in our diet, we're getting the iodine that we need.
Yeah.
So I don't think we're iodine deficient.
Okay.
Clearly, there are other cultures that are iodine deficient because they don't have access to it. And
not Japan.
And a lot of it is and a lot of the and a lot of the food here in the U.S. is supplemented with iodine, so
salt and stuff like that.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
Well, that's one of the things is one of the things that I believe Barry was saying. Ken Barry, he was saying because he preaches about this stuff a lot. He takes it every day. He's taking like the 5% and taking more than I am. But
and if you're eating all salt that doesn't have iodine in it, and
you're not getting enough of the iodine,
you might not get enough. But
right. He said,
I think it'd be hard pressed to find Americans that are iodine deficient.
Really? I was wondering that, like, what? So they say iodine is like kind of in everything, and it's like has to do with cell function and stuff like that. Like, how would you? Is it? I mean, it's something that you can overdo for one. I know you can like not overdose on iodine, but you can take too much and it'll mess you up.
This is 4% potassium iodide and then 2% iodine. So you're getting potassium with this too.
Oh, good deal.
So
I didn't even think about that when I read the label.
again,
I didn't even think about the potassium.
Yeah. So again, you can overdo the potassium. So.
Yeah, very true. Now, one drop though, one drop.
Yeah.
So there's only going to be so much, but yeah, overdoing the potassium.
I know a lot of people are, I think Dr. Berg. Have you ever seen him?
I don't think so.
Berg. Look him up.
Okay.
He has a whole line of supplements. He talks a lot about supplements. Basically, he tells you the kind of the good and the bad, but then of course his product is always, superior.
Right. Yeah.
As
most salesmen
and so it's kind of, but the reality of it is you can go from, I need a whole counter full of supplements to I just need a steak.
Right.
And if you're eating a steak and you're doing okay and your labs are okay and you're feeling okay, you probably don't need all this other stuff.
Right.
Right. And if you're not doing okay, then you need to find out why you're not doing okay. And then if you say, well, you're low in magnesium, well, then I'm going to supplement with magnesium. But you don't need to line up a whole bunch of pills. You don't need to do, and some of it's snake oil salesmanship, and some of it is, you're just being it all out. So you have very expensive urine, but you're not really doing anything better for yourself, and you're complicating it, which means you're less likely to sustain it.
Right.
Because if you say, listen, I have 10 pills I have to take every single day for the rest of my life on this diet, you're not going to do it.
No.
But if you say, you know what, I can eat this diet and I don't need to take any pills.
Right.
I'm not spending $30 on a bottle of some special supplement. Then you're more likely to say, you know what, I can continue to do this.
Right. You don't have to, and you don't have to feel like shit when you don't have that supplement, or you don't have the $30 for the supplement.
Right.
Very true.
Right.
Very true.
And you can go to GNC or Costco or wherever, and you can say, oh, here's a bottle of testosterone booster for $35, and it's like, I could get 3 ribeye steaks for $35
and get so much more testosterone.
And
I don't feel like them things could be that great.
I don't know what it is, but the thing of it is that that I just don't complicate things with
it. Right. So
no,
I
and that's why I never even
mess with it.
Yeah, Lugol's is actually for radiation poisoning.
Oh, really?
So yeah, so if there's like a nuclear blast, you'd be glad you have that bottle.
There was it's the potassium iodide, right? Because if you're around a nuclear power plant, they have to give you these
kits.
Yeah, the kits. I saw those in the comments and stuff. I was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
So it's definitely now.
But if there's a nuclear blast, I think that the last thing you're gonna be worried about is where's my bottle of Lugol's.
Yeah. I don't think I'm gonna be worried about it too much.
Yeah.
I mean, I might, knowing that, I might be like, hey, baby, we got to go home real quick.
Yeah, right. But if your home's still there,
I think, if it's still there. But no, I think that's, and I bought this to try it just to see if like it made any difference. I haven't seen a difference, so I don't think I need to take it. But at the same time, I like having it.
And is there recommended dose 1 drop a day?
So there's mixed stuff out there.
Right.
Now, I didn't look up to see if Lugol's recommends anything. Like Ken Berry and the lady that he was talking to about it. Ken says he takes, I think, 2 or 3 drops in the morning, 2 or 3 drops a night, something like that. And he takes the 5%. Like, I want to be, if I'm going to do this, it's going to be, because from what I read, like the impact of overdosing. Yeah. I don't want to work my way up to it though, because of what I read about the anxiety attacks. I don't want to test that too much. I think 1 drop a day if I continue to do it, because I haven't seen much of a difference.
But if it's not doing anything, then I
think I don't need it. Right. I don't want to. I don't want to do what I did with that.
And at the very least, if you use that bottle, don't replace it.
Yeah. So, that way I'm done with it. Like, and by then you should be good to go.
Right.
One more thing I wanted to talk about real quick: magnesium. So I read that magnesium can store in your bones. Like if you're deficient on magnesium, then when your body gets magnesium, that it can store it in your bones and your tissue somehow. That way it can use it when you need it. So like if you're somebody who's not getting enough magnesium and your body recognizes that, it can store a small amount of magnesium in your bones. That way, when you need it and you're not getting it, you have some.
Yeah. Well, the thing about magnesium is there's many forms. There's magnesium oxide, there's magnesium citrate, there's magnesium glycinate. And the glycinate is more expensive because it's more readily absorbed through the bowel mucosa, and the magnesium oxide is the cheapest, but it's also the most likely to cause stones. And
those can cause kidney stones.
And so because you're getting the oxides, and so
sorry, go on.
So the magnesium citrate is what they use as a colon prep if you're going to get like a colonoscopy in larger doses. But if you take a large amount of magnesium citrate as a supplement, you're going to get the same, clear your bowel
flushing
effect.
out. Yeah.
And depending on, some people are more sensitive to it than others.
And it's only the magnesium citrate that does that.
The citrate is more
laxative,
more laxative than the glycinate or the oxide. But you pick and choose, what works for you. And it certainly can help you with sleep. So the best time to take it is before you go to bed. And a lot of times people take magnesium and D3 combined because that helps with absorption. And sometimes you'll even see.
Rogan said that on the podcast. As a matter of fact,
a combo medication that has it. But having said that, most people probably don't need it at all. That if you're working outside a lot, you're sweating a lot, and you don't have. See, the reason that people need electrolytes if they're keto or carnivore is because they don't have all this extra fluid in their body that's got electrolytes in it. So when you deplete yourself, you have no reserve to go to.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas if you have 10 pounds of fluid circulating, not circulating, but within your tissues, those fluids contain electrolytes. And so when you get low, your body will pull from those reserves and it will maintain. And that's why a lot of people, if they transition from a standard American diet to a keto or carnivore diet too rapidly, they get the diuresis where they lose all the fluid, but then they lose all the electrolytes. And then they get keto flu, which is they feel horrible because they haven't supplemented. They've lost all that and they haven't supplemented in the meantime. And so that's where people need to be real careful if they're going to transition. And that's where going cold turkey can backfire because they'll say, I tried keto, I felt horrible, I quit. Well, the reason is because you didn't hit that sweet spot where,
slowly wean yourself
now
off.
Now your body is now regulating electrolytes a lot tighter than it used to, because it used to be, it didn't have to regulate it. It always had a store to go to. But when the bank vault's empty, then you got to keep.
Yeah, you got to bring in some money somehow. Exactly. Yeah, good point.
So that's what that's about. And I think that just whatever works. But I stay away from magnesium oxalate because I know it's the cheapest, but last thing you want to do is develop kidney stones. But the other two are fine.
Are kidney stones just like a buildup of electrolytes in your feet?
Yeah, basically it's you get concentrated salt. So a lot of people who work outside and don't hydrate enough, the salts turn to crystals. The crystals grow, and then they become stones. And so you end up with basically salt stones.
So people, my stepdad struggles with kidney stones, or he used to. I don't know if he does anymore. I'd imagine that's something you do for a while.
In the South, a lot of it's from well water too, because the well water can be higher in minerals than, say, a regulated city water.
That's a good point too.
And if they're drinking well water, they're probably getting more than they should, and then they're developing stones from that. And there's a hereditary component to it as well. So, but those are all factored into it.
You can kind of be predisposed through hereditary.
I think so, but but the question is it hereditary because I developed it from my parents, or is it hereditary because I'm living on the same property, drinking out of the same well?
Right.
You know, so
That's why, again, from person to person, why it's so different. Yeah.
exactly,
That's
exactly.
crazy.
Yep.
Because I like, just like me, a lot of people come on looking for we're just looking for the answer. We're looking for that snake oil.
Mhm.
We're looking for the one that,
well, and that's where that's where Ozempic and Wegovy and Mounjaro are.
that's where they make their money.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, and it's like, you know, listen, I know it costs $1,800 a month, but I get one shot a day or one shot a week or whatever it is, and the fat is melting off. And so for them, that's, you know, a magic bullet.
It just puts you in a caloric deficit, doesn't it? It just makes you not want to eat.
Well, I mean, for a lot of people, it just makes them so nauseated that they can't eat.
Oh.
And so then they're walking around
a zombie,
nauseated all the time. Just, you know, it's like, I'm just, you know, food is, they're no longer interested in food because, you know, but I don't know enough about it, but I think it's interesting that Ozempic was designed to treat type 2 diabetes. And then they found that people lost weight with it. So instead of saying, hey, let's get a weight loss application to sell this for weight loss, they made a stronger version of it called Wegovy.
Oh, Wegovy's stronger?
And yeah, Wegovy's stronger. And then we're going to market to people that are overweight. And I mean, it just doesn't make sense at all that it's like, well, we're going to give the overweight diabetics the Ozempic, but then we're going to give the overweight non-diabetics the stronger version.
Stuff, which isn't it made? You just said it was invented to help with diabetes, to cure diabetes.
Well, the Wegovy was made to market for
the fat loss. Yeah, right. But the original
is for type 2 diabetes.
So why would if you're going to up the dosage, like use it, you know?
I mean, why? And but the reason is they don't want to go back to the FDA and say, well, we want to get an additional application for this. We're going to come out with a new drug, probably charge more money for it, different application, and we're going to get that approved. And so that's where they go. But again, you're losing fat, you're also losing muscle.
And they don't. Oh, sorry.
And if you lose 30% of your muscle along with your weight loss, and then you gain it all back, you're gaining back fat.
And you're struggling with it.
So yeah,
struggling with it.
And the other thing is, you have such a rapid weight loss. A lot of it is I mean, weight loss is healthy to a degree,
right?
But you hear of Ozempic face, and it's these people that just look really gaunt, and they look almost like they were, a POW and starved because they just they look death warmed over appearance. Right. It's not a good look.
No. I see a lot of the celebrities right now that they're talking about being on Ozempic. They seem miserable.
And then they have they lose weight so quickly that their body's not able to adapt. They have all this excess skin, and they have all kinds of problems with that too. So, but that's their magic bullet, and they're like, look, this is working for me, and again,
I don't think I think Ozempic is going to be, it's everybody's answer right now, but I think it's going to be one of those things where 10 years everybody's dropping dead from taking Ozempic.
Well, and they may not drop dead, but 10 years from now, they're going to look back and say, that was not.
Yeah. Or I could have spent my money, or I could have just ate steak. Could have just ate 3 steaks a day. Right. Could have just, oh my God. That's the part that kills me, because I know that stuff is expensive. I didn't know it was $1,800 a month.
Yeah.
That's crazy. And they're only getting, what, 1 shot a month?
I don't know whether it's a week or a month. They're different between the different.
I'd imagine how much you get.
Yeah. But anyway, there is no magic bullet.
No.
You got to eat properly. You got to exercise. You got to moderate, and
be in tune with your body.
And if you want to lose weight, I don't care what you're eating. It has to be a caloric deficit, because you're not going to be able to outrun your fork.
Right. No, that makes sense. That makes sense. That's been a big talk right now in like fitness and health, is like the calories in, calories out thing. Everybody's swearing by the calories in, calories out, and there's a lot of people who are like, and I was swaying one way or the other. Like, I don't know, because there's some days where like I'm counting all my calories and stuff, and it says that I have quite a surplus, but I'll lose 5 pounds overnight.
Yeah.
So
and again, overcomplicated.
Right,
You know?
right.
I mean, you can lose weight eating M&Ms. The question is,
True.
how are you going to feel?
Yeah.
You know, and if you have a high-end car and you're putting in crap gas, don't expect it to run like a Ferrari.
Right.
It's not. And so, but again, you can blow past that caloric count real quick. With just one extra handful, and now you've just blown all your caloric deficit for the day.
Right.
So.
And then you're gaining weight.
Right. And another point is don't drink your calories. Because
dude, yeah.
The milkshakes, the Starbucks,
The butter in the
drinks,
coffee, dude. The butter in the
butter
coffee.
in the coffee, cream in the coffee.
Don't drink the fat either.
Fruit drinks, sodas. It's all empty calories. Your body doesn't register it, and so your body doesn't register as far as your brain saying, "Hey, I'm full." So whatever you're taking in,
you're just stacking it
liquid.
up.
You're just adding to whatever you're going to be eating on top of it.
Because it's not registering it as I ate some food, I'm full.
You're not sated.
You're like sneaking the calories by.
That's right. That's right.
And like you said, they're empty calories. I'm curious to see where the research goes on quality versus like the quality of calories. I'm interested to see just like how everything has been kind of broken down and over the last 20 years, everything's kind of like gotten more like used to be. As far as I knew, like back when I was a teenager and stuff like that, it was if you wanted to lose weight, eat more times throughout the day in smaller amounts, or like if you wanted to regulate your metabolism, or like that was the furthest extent that I knew of back then was just eat different, just eat the same stuff you're eating, but eat smaller amounts more throughout the day. Now that's like couldn't be further from the truth.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I can eat once a day and I can lose weight eating once a day,
and not be hungry.
Yeah. Fasting wasn't not that fasting wasn't a thing. Fasting's been a thing for a long time, but intermittent fasting and all that wasn't even on the table back then, as far as discussions.
No, I mean, back then it was starve yourself.
Exactly. It was,
and you could lose a lot of weight starving yourself, but it's not sustainable.
No, eat less, do more.
And
that doesn't work.
So
you can't do more if you eat less. It's fuel. You can't run your car. Like you said, you got to have good gas. If you run your car on shitty gas, you can't expect it to go far.
That's right.
Or to run well. So, yeah, I agree. Well, I don't think I have too much more. I think that's pretty much it. We covered a lot of good topics. Had some good steaks.
You know where to find me if you got any questions.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't have all the answers, but there's plenty of information out there that you can find. I think that if you haven't checked out 6 Miles to Supper, she's very interesting person to look at. And then Dr. Berg, you can look up BERG. Look him up. You mentioned a couple of the other ones.
Chafee,
Baker and Chafee, Saladino.
Barry Saladino. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
They're all really good guys to listen to, and they're all they all have good credentials to like base off of. That's the other reason why I follow them is because they're not just somebody on TikTok posting stuff.
No, and they're not all going to say the same thing. And and you don't have to agree or disagree with everything. You have to find what works for you.
Right. You can't be dogmatic is the word that I keep hearing.
Right.
Being like that seems to be a reoccurring.
Well, and if you make it so restrictive, you're not going to sustain it.
You won't want to.
And so it's something where you have to figure out what works for you. And if you say, 90-10 works for me, and I'm going to be hardcore for 9 days, and I'm going to treat myself on the 10th day, if that's what you think is you might
can sustain that.
You might tape yourself off that eventually and say, I really don't need to eat a piece of pizza, or I really don't need to do this. But if that's what gets you through the 9 days, I mean, you're way ahead of the game of most people, right?
It's just about being better, not being perfect.
Exactly. Yeah. And giving yourself the grace when you do, slip, to get right back on.
Don't beat yourself up too much.
No,
get right
just
back
say,
on.
And say, look, I was good for 10 days. I cheated. I'm going to be good for the next 15 days.
Right. And
just kind of go from there. And, if at the end of the month, you ate right 27 out of 30 days, that's
pretty
better
good.
than 99% of the population.
Right.
So.
Yep. Just one step at a time, pretty much.
That's right.
Yeah. Just one step, because it's not easy if you just cold turkey it. And from what we just talked about, it's probably not a good idea to cold turkey it. It's better to kind of wean yourself into it.
I think tapering it, I think mentally and physically tapering it, and but the biggest thing is, how's that going to work in your household, and fit into your lifestyle. And there's going to be situations where, if you work in an environment where the whole group goes out for lunch every day, and you just say, you know what, I'm not going to go out for lunch. That's, then now you're
no fun.
You're no fun. But if you go out for lunch and you just sit there and stare at everybody else eating,
you're also no fun.
Then you're no fun, and you're weird. Or if you say, well, I'm just going to get a hamburger with no bun, then everybody's looking at you like,
everybody's asking questions.
What are you doing? Right?
No bun.
And why are you not eating fries?
Right.
So, but you got to kind of develop a plan and then work towards it. And once you hit that spot where you see the benefits, it'll perpetuate.
Right.
Okay.
Good deal.
All right. Very good.
Yeah. I enjoyed it.
All right.
That's a wrap, guys.
All right.